Welcome, everyone, to episode 25 of Boom Mic Banter. I am Nick. With me is a motherfucking reoccurring guest that I could not be more excited to have on again. That bitch is goddamn Luna.
Hello.
Luna! How the fuck are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Did you know that our last episode for this was in March of last year?
Mm-hmm.
So we're about we're 2 or 3 weeks away from almost being
almost
a year.
Full year.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
I feel...
How was the year? How about that? Because we were talking for anyone listening. So we, of course, as I do with every guest, which I have a terrible problem of, I have like the real conversation before we hit record.
We've been talking for an hour.
Yeah, and then it's like we're really just like talking like shit about fucking people and things and what have you. But then now we're
mostly
talking about
Nick just talking trash. If you're friends with him, if you know his first and last name, he's talking shit right now.
One of my favorite things about you is the play that you do with lying. You have the dialect of when you're lying. Like, exactly when you're lying, when you're like, I would never say those. Like, you literally, you have, like, the wavelength of verbiage when you're...
Yeah, I've told my girlfriend that when I'm trying to be absurd, I have to draw out my sentences in such a way that I can figure out where they're going before everyone else does. So it's like watching a good TV show when a plot twist hits. You almost don't want to get whiplash, but you want everybody to be surprised. And I've been working on this humor approach that it's just been killing it at work. I don't know.
Just crushing it with...
Yeah, insert interaction here in social public space.
I still find myself doing that all the time. I still get paranoid about it, but even like yesterday I was hanging out with a group of friends and I don't know if it's just like me in a room and like you'll get this more than anybody.
Speaking of friends, these are the friends you're talking shit on all the time.
Yes, right? Absolutely. These garbage human fucking pieces of shit. Now, so I'm hanging out with people and then like I just do the thing where like, oh, the comedy reel's like really going. But then in the back of my mind I'm like, you should probably shut the fuck up and like not overtake the conversation. Yeah. But the funny is way outweighing the like social of like, you should shut up, Nick. Like,
oh, but there's a balance where if you can get somebody like Tavares, right? Mm-hmm. The man was so good at getting me laughing and then never letting me stop.
Yes.
It would be
5
minutes going in and then 3 minutes and it's like, oh my god, I'm literally out of breath, my chest hurts and I'm still laughing and he's fucking laughing, not even doing anything outside.
Oh no, it's always it's the same what is it? Sarah described it so perfectly. It's taking one funny like or like but we would go, and then stretching it to infinity. Like, stretching it beyond any realm that anyone could even think the bit or the joke would go. That is, like, T-Bears is the one. He can just
twist it. Yeah. It's so I'm working on this absurdist, I don't know. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts, and I listen to a lot of comedians and stuff, and I was even going to joke when I came on here about, like, how I'm turning this into a comedy podcast instead of anything else. And then I was going to do, like, a slide whistle, but I don't have one, you get it. But it's, I don't know. I want to be funnier in my day-to-day. That's like, a big thing, because I've just been, like, happier.
I think you're naturally funny, though.
I think so, too. Thanks. Yeah. I appreciate it. I think that's why we get along as well as we do.
I don't think there's ever a time...
I've been serious? You're right.
No. Ever. I don't think there's ever been a time where you and I have not, like, died laughing at some point hanging out.
Yeah, or even if we're having a serious conversation, we're laughing in between it or
jokes
something.
In between.
Yeah. But that's I think how both of us just communicate in general, which is I think part of being funny, it's about utilizing it like normally.
Yeah, I think it's resonating. I think a big thing I've noticed, like, as I've gotten older, and, like, I'm still young as fuck, but you know what I mean. Like, as we're getting older of, like...
I'm pushing 17 this year.
Oh, boy! Can you remember 17?
No, not for any amount of money.
See what I'm saying? That actually describes how old we are now.
Fuck no. That's when I moved to Calico.
Jesus.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
If that's not a timestamp on its own, I don't know what it is. Oh, but so anyway, so going back and like the humor thing, like that's the thing that I so go into now is like the wavelength of humor. So like you and me have always like we bounce jokes the same because our headspace is the same.
Yeah.
So even if, and you're someone though where like if our bits will end differently, but we'll both totally understand. And because we drove, saw the fork, and just both of us took both different routes. But at the same time, we both go, "Oh, I totally understand driving that way. Exactly how that would have ended up and shit."
It's definitely we have a coherent conversation that kind of follows the same path each time, where it's the how crazy would it be if, and I don't know. It's something that I strive for in a conversation now because it's so much fun just to bounce off of people.
Oh, totally, especially new people. Because like don't get me wrong, like I love this always sense of comfortability. I mean, like this is why I started this type of podcast.
We've been friends for like
ever
a dozen years. Is that
at
we
least,
like 12 now?
Hold on. So first of all, bare minimum at least a decade, because I graduated in 2010, it's 2020, easily 10 years, and then even cut to before then, so I'd probably say sophomore year.
Yeah. So
because I moved here in like my freshman year.
Yeah, so like 15 or 16.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So at least like 12 years. 12, potentially 14 years.
Fuck.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's fucking nanas.
Yeah.
Oh, do you want to know the even worse part? Half our lives.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, well, okay.
Whoa.
Oh, under half. Fuck. Yeah.
No. What do you mean?
Yeah. Shit, dude.
29?
Yeah, fuck.
That's like pretty much half our fucking lives. That's crazy.
That's too long. You shouldn't do anything for that long. I'm just saying. I think I'm gonna leave.
You know what? Here's something that we can fucking pseudo cheers to. Out of anything that either one of us has ever committed to, this is one of the longest commitments we've ever had.
Oh my god. to be fair, at 24, I didn't even commit to the same name.
That's true. That's what I'm saying. So
yeah, shit. Yeah, I don't know. It's I think of it like ALBL, like after Luna, before.
Oh my god! You did not. No. I was like, "There's a line. You are not Jesus."
No, yeah, I don't even remotely. No, I'm more famous than him and the Beatles or whatever.
Listen, just because you have the hair now does not.
Yo, speaking of the hair needs cut. The hair's.
Let me know.
The hair's a special level of dead. No, I got like a gift card for Christmas.
You still haven't used it though.
Yeah, well, so
we had that conversation a month ago.
Yeah, it's because there's something backhanded. Okay.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Of all the gifts you can receive for Christmas or your birthday, receiving one that benefits your aesthetic or your hygiene or whatever, whether it be a haircut or they buy you like laser or a waxing session, all they're saying is you need this more than I do.
Get it fixed.
Yeah, so receiving a free haircut is cool in a moment, and then also like, oh.
But that could just be a like, hey, treat yourself type.
Yeah, and I'm also very vocal about everything I've ever wanted in my life. Yeah. I'm hoping that someone just walks out of nowhere and hands it to me.
Yeah.
So going like, oh, I'd like to get a haircut soon, of course, absolutely plays into it.
Because I have gifted before. I've literally gifted like at like those, I don't know what they're called. It's like a hair salon, but it's like a 2-in-1 thing because they also do like massages and shit.
Like Head and Shoulders, like the bottle.
Yeah, I bought them a bottle. I bought them a bottle.
You fucking need this.
Your dandruff is insane. Like, get this shit fixed.
But
literally,
this.
like I've given like exes and shit gifts of like a haircut and like a thing, because that's like a treat yourself type thing.
There you go.
That was
now
never,
you're pretty again.
Yeah, no, but it was never like you're hideous. Get yourself fucking cleaned up.
Get it together.
Yeah. I think that was more of like a hey, treat yourself.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, it was my grandma. I don't think grandmas are capable of being mean.
Yeah.
Not really.
Well,
yeah.
Speak for yourself.
True.
Yeah.
True,
my grandma's dead, and I couldn't be more thankful.
Damn. Coming straight out of the barrel with that one.
Do you know the whole like half synopsis with that whole thing?
No. All
right. So hold on. All right. So we're gonna bullet point it here, and like the whole long-term story is definitely gonna be for a different podcast. But okay. So first of all, the grandmother I'm speaking of is on my father's side. Okay. Obviously, Luna knows these things already, but I'm just speaking this out loud for the listeners so they can semi-keep track. Father passed away of cancer at 14. For me, at 14, not my dad. The
most progress.
The grandmother,
father.
the grandmother that I'm speaking of is my dad's mom. But way before that, so literally throughout the entire relationship of my mother and father, who were happily married their entire time, grandmother on my dad's side fucking hated my mom. Like, top to bottom, hated her, was wrong, she's manipulative, what the fuck. And for anybody, and please, if for anyone that doesn't know my mother, listen to my Mother's Day podcast of last year. My mom is the most, like, genuine, like, if something is fucked up, she's the first thing that's going to come out of her mouth is, this is a fucked up thing that you need to hear. But, like, 99.9% of the time, just the most genuine fucking, like, actually trying to care.
But she's just a sincere person.
Yes, exactly.
It's like, it's not malice or anything.
No, she's from Jersey, honest. So she's gonna tell you straight fucking up.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, it's out of a genuine care. It's not like, it's never out of malice. And so anyway, so that whole fucking thing. And then during my dad's cancer, which he had for 2 years, she was like, in the beginning, she was like, oh, he just has, like, the common cold. And, like, Lynn, who is my mother, is, like, you know, making the shit up and building the shit up and, like, blah, blah, blah. All right, and my dad, and keep in mind, Jesus. At that point, my dad is been in chemo. My dad's, like, came out of chemo, can't even, like, stand. He's, like, fucking debilitated. And that's a whole, and so anyway,
still,
I'm trying to bullet point as much as possible. So all that shit happens, and then my dad sadly passes away, and we're at the funeral, and, you know, we're grieving, and everything's going on. And my just fucking piece of human garbage of a grandmother decides the moment my mom is, like, kneeled over the casket, like, doing her fucking thing, decides to, at that moment, be like, hey, you made, like, you know, like, my son's cancer all about you, and blah. Keep in mind, this is, and I just want to preface this so, like, you don't hear just, like, one side of a bullet point. Keep in mind, my mother, all she did was literally just be at my father's bedside and take care of him, while I took care of my 1-year-old brother and was homeschooled, and I was balancing homeschooling and taking care of my 1-year-old brother, while my father was, like, fucking debilitatingly sick. And me and my mom ran fucking, like, nursing/hospice for, like, 2 fucking years straight, on top of, like, not really getting help from, like, fucking anybody. And the fucking nerve of that woman to say that in, like, the most pivotally...
Dude, I would have thrown hands.
Oh, she got kicked out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
so anyway,
absurd.
So anyway, written off all that shit, and then a couple months later she died. So there we go.
Yeah.
Karma, so anyway,
absolutely.
Exactly. So anyway. So
to the audience.
Yeah, so to recap, not all grandmas can be nice.
Yeah. So since this is an audio medium, the stared astonishment on my face for the past. Realizing that I could very well punch a grandmother. That's an interesting realization, a facet of myself I've learned. That's absurd, man.
Before my, I mean, that's the thing. You don't, like, on a really small encapsulate, like, nothing taught me better than you never truly understand yourself until you get put through an extreme. Yeah. And I was always a person, like...
Trial by fire.
Like, number one, Italian background and raised in Jersey. You don't even have to be Italian. It's just being in Jersey. I know this sounds like so stupid, but, like, it's just family is so injected. Like, I mean, like, it's literally your blood, but it gets so ingrained into your fucking psyche.
Hell yeah.
That it's like, oh, and nothing. Rip that Band-Aid off fucking harder than watching the disappointment of, and, like, I'm not generalizing, not everybody, but, like, the disappointment that some people hit with, it is mind-blowing. It's fucking earth-shattering. Like... So when that fucking happened, it just completely ruptured my world. But then at the same time, I went, oh, I am also, like, I could not be more devastated at, like, 13, 14, like, discovering this shit. And now feeling like I don't have, like, I do have a sense of home because thank God my immediate family. But, like,
that's
outside of that,
separated.
But nothing helped me better than, like, 2 years after the fact going, I learned this so early in life.
It's just a facet of who I am now.
Now it's a part of me, and now this is something that will never hindrance me.
Congrats,
for the
man.
rest of my
You understand the direct parallel of being an LGBT kid who realizes that their parents aren't going to, like, back them up. That's
so, but oh man, let's not even compare it.
That's what I mean. They are.
How about this?
They're the closest we could.
Apples and oranges, they're both fruit.
Yep.
They're both fruit, but goddamn,
exactly.
Go through different
different, but that like realization, like I'm lucky enough that my family is the way they are. Now, some of them don't fucking get it, but there's not malice there, and if there is, like, there's no interaction, so it doesn't really matter. It's not a big deal. But yeah, dude, writing off family is like a fucking blessing and a curse.
This doesn't have to come with like family, but like even in general, is the curiosity frustrating as well?
I actually like answering questions because I'm vain. To be as ridiculous as it is, dude. If somebody comes in to my space and they're just asking me questions, I don't mind correcting, terminology or, whatever.
It's because it's actually genuine in their life.
Yeah, and even if it's a malicious intent, I would rather be, not to be all like stoic and whatever, but I would rather be the shield of that versus some, trans baby who has never had these questions and all of a sudden their angry dad's asking them why their nails are painted. Like, I want to be able to be the one who takes that brunt so that they can be okay for a second.
Totally.
So if it means that I have to tell someone that it's not transsexual anymore, that means that they've learned that for the future. Mm-hmm. If they choose not to use it, now the next person will know it's malicious, but it's not a non-knowledge thing.
Yeah.
And ignorance it hurts, but it's not near as bad as the other.
It's gotta be, don't get me wrong, like, from knowing people that are, like, embedded in the community and stuff, like, I definitely feel in some instances that, like, if I hear something, like, fucked up or something, I'll, like, say something. But I seriously, like, infinite power to you, because I can't fathom having to, like, even I mean, for you it's probably at this point like a subconscious level of having to like step in or like not step in's the wrong word.
But yeah,
but do you get what I'm saying? Of like
there's...
having to like rectify a fucking situation or like clarify, like that must be like, I mean, sometimes it must be great, but then sometimes it also must be fucking infuriating.
So what I would equate it to, and as dumb as this is, it's gonna translate.
Yeah.
In a game, in a role-playing game where you create your own background, the people that are the most vindictive and just bitter, or their evil backstory, it's always the bad home life, or you have like, I was orphaned at a young age by the dragon who blah blah blah.
Yeah, or some betrayal.
Yeah. So the coming to the aid of someone else because you were in need at another time, when you have that character and it's the orphaned at a young age because of a dragon, and then all of a sudden you see the dragon attacking another kid's family. Then you have that, like, what it says is the camaraderie of another LGBT umbrella person being accosted on the street or harassed or even just being misgendered.
Yeah.
I immediately feel the camaraderie of it, and it's easier for me to speak up than it would ever be for myself.
Got it.
We're talking battered, beaten, bruised. There's nothing that I could be put through that would make it easier for me to just stand up for myself. Granted, people are really nice, and I'm a people person, so if you're shitty to me, you're shitty to a nice person.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Well, on top of it, too, like, you and me are very similar in the sense of, like, you are very capable of word ninjaing a situation very quickly. Like, it doesn't even have to be, like, a very serious subject. Like, someone just asks, like,
just sometimes you have to finesse stuff in a way.
Be like, haha, like, you're dumb, but like, we're gotta run with this. Like, let's keep going.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. You try to keep the energy of the conversation at a certain momentum, but also making a point to go, but this is important, but here's the deal, it's okay.
Yep.
And that, like...
You take the skip of the beat of, like, hey, we took a pause. The pause is important.
And it is. And that's the biggest thing is, I want people to learn so that they don't say some stupid ass shit to some other trans kid. Totally. Whatever. But also, again, I'm like, all jokes aside, hella vain. I love talking about myself.
Yeah.
So it's really easy for me to be in a position, like, imposter syndrome is 80% of my personality at this point, because I'm like, am I really trans if I just love talking about it as much as I do? But also, because people don't get shit. They don't understand anything. Like, as lame as it is, the plight of the trans woman is something that not a lot of people understand. The same way the plight of somebody who lost a parent at a young age, or just, there's so many things that...
I think the biggest thing is, like, when someone goes through a, like, trial by fire situation, like, when someone goes through something that's that detrimental, like... It's just like how we were talking about before. Like, you have so much better of an understanding. For people that have never gone through it, the first thing they try to do is compare. and I don't even bash people for that, because that's the first thing that their brain then tries to relate.
It's human nature.
Exactly. You try to physically relate it to something, or even on a mental level.
Just to show that you understand at a fundamental level that there's similarities.
But for people that have went through like shit, and it could be fucking anything,
any
up and
form
down
of trauma, yeah.
Yeah. There's that immediate understanding of like, yep, I am, instead of going to try to like understand it and then talk out of my ass and say that, oh, I've heard one story, so now
totally
I know
been there.
it. Yeah, like, oh, I've heard like one story, I've talked to one person, so now I totally get it. Yeah. It's like, no, like, I'm never gonna fully fathom it. I'll be lucky.
There are a lot of things you'll never know.
Yeah, I'll be lucky at the end of the day if I can at least go like, I get the gist of it.
Yeah.
Lucky. Keep in mind, lucky. That's not a given.
Yeah.
That's
like,
if
this is something that you're... And everybody has those things.
Yeah.
I think everybody has something that they can't describe. But the human condition is trying to find solidarity. The camaraderie of knowing that somebody else is understanding what you're going through and everything.
Yeah, totally.
So there's something to be said about trauma as an umbrella, going like, oh, I had XYZ happen to me, so here are my things that I struggle with, and then someone else who struggles with the same things for different reasons, you understand. But the understanding of like the trans community, that it's very, I don't want to say common, it's a numbers game, but there's a very large population of people that are also autistic. And, like, I will never understand what it's like to be a trans woman and autistic. I just won't. I can't.
Yeah,
I have ADHD the same way that people couldn't understand what it's like to be without. Like, there are just differences that are so... It's so palpable.
Yeah.
So strong that you can't work around it. But, again, like, in trying so hard to understand what someone else is going through, you can learn by adapting it.
Yeah.
So going like, oh, the loss of this, like, I understand what my parents went through when I changed my name to an extent, because to them it was like losing a kid, because here's this thing that they did.
Yeah, exactly.
But also, on the other hand, they seem to finally understand what it's like for me to have to go, hey, you guys were literally wrong. Like, sorry about your circumstance. There's this thing that's basically unheard of because of insert whatever, and I don't need to go into all the semantics of why trans knowledge isn't taught, but between like burned books and shit along those lines, like there's literal knowledge that's lost. So people don't know what they don't know because it's just not in circulation.
It's just even the concept of like, and yet again, like I've never like understood that way, because I've like, for me personally,
it's a different language.
But yeah, it's just that like I can't fathom of just like, holy fuck, like my starter kit circumstance is wrong.
Yeah,
like
it's what people expect is when you have to deviate away from what is expected societally. Right.
Yeah.
Now, granted, that's anything from
even on top of that, it's like not even society. It's like literally like you're like whatever the fuck you're born into is like the quote unquote norm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just like a default, like before there's even a rule placed on it.
Yep, absolutely.
Like, oh, well, that's like, I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, I'm not saying that is the actual rule.
But that's the circumstance. You're introduced to life in a way that says this is what this is. And then something changes, and that's literally it. And when it comes to, I don't know, adapting to those changes and just like coming to grips with those things,
understanding, and
just the comprehension of your circumstances as they are.
Yeah.
In finding out that I was like trans or bi or had ADHD and depression and anxiety, like when you learn something about yourself, it makes you go, okay, well, these are the things that I understand, because nothing is, oh man, this is going to sound some like tin hat grade shit. But I have this theory, if you will, where mental differences are always a spectrum. Which is why, like, ADHD, ADD, and autism share symptoms. Which is why colds and things like that. Because your body has so many signs to show certain things. Okay. Certain symptoms are all connected. Or, similar areas. Just like you'd expect if you have a sickness in your throat. Yeah. Your throat all encompassed is normally affected to an extent.
Yes.
So I
understand that train of thought. Definitely.
Yeah, so beyond the spectrum of sexuality and gender and all that different stuff, there's so many different circumstances that mean you might understand what someone else says in other words.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is why I think...
Well, most people interpret it different. You can say the same sentence to 15 people, and 15 people are going to react completely different to that sentence.
Have you ever seen the practice that they do where it's like you have one sentence and you change the inflection on one word?
Yep.
I gave her the keys. Yep. It's just that little bit of a difference that can totally change your meaning and whatever. Interacting with somebody who has trauma that is adjacent to your own it's weird because you can understand, but also you go like, oh my God, I didn't even think about this, this, and this. That's your emotional intelligence muscle.
Yeah.
That's how you like learn that stuff. And I think by like working retail, we have that practice more because someone could be buying a game for 20 different reasons, whether it be, I played it with my family growing up, or I think it looks interesting or whatever.
Yeah.
But just by going through that and finding like a genre of interest, you're also finding all those little similarities.
Absolutely.
I don't know. There's so much. I'm trying to just be more aware of my atmosphere and stuff. I want to know the energy I'm bringing to people when I talk to them and stuff.
Oh, see, that's me times 1,000.
Yeah.
Whole thing is oh God, I did. Okay, I'm gonna parallel this in a weird way. I did a stand-up set once at Chameleon Club because my whole thing a couple years back was I really was like hyper always aware of reading a room.
Yeah,
like, always. Like
absolutely.
The thing was like I could be having a conversation with you, and then someone's having a complete private conversation like 2 minutes to the left of me, and like I'll just like be talking to you, and then like 10 seconds in I'll be like, and that is a really good fucking point, and you should keep talking about that.
Thing.
That's what I'm saying.
Same thing at work all the time.
That's why we've always, even naturally, that's our mental path.
Yeah, we've done it to each other in the same house. Yeah,
that's exactly how we fucking resonated in the first place.
Yep.
Was both of us were on separate sides of the room, talking with other people, and then both of us did that's exactly. You, me, and Tabaris. It's the fucking 3 people that... It's the same way I met Tabaris. I met Tabaris at a New Year's party, and everyone was saying dumb shit across the room. Me and T-Bears laughed at the one same comment that one person said out loud, and we both went, huh, and both made eye contact, both eyebrow raised, shrugged, and laughed so hard because nobody else in the room either heard it or also noticed us doing it. And we've done that 1,000 times. Like 1,000 times. And it's that type of thing of, like, reading a room. So that's my whole thing now that, I absolutely dial into, like, 11. And I want to keep going, like, with that. Of, like, I know I'm hyperly aware. And I thought, though, that was a given. Like, you want to talk about, like, you want to talk about the toolkit in a different way? Like, I was like, oh, that's how normal people go through shit. And that's what, like...
It doesn't take long to realize not a lot of people can read a fucking room.
Oh, clearly. Well,
my God.
Well, nothing blew my mind more than, like, friendships and even relationships. Like, I used to be, like... I mean, like, you knew this a while ago, but, like, even back in, like, high school and shit, I used to be, like, the fucking pseudo-therapist for my fucking friends. Because I'd be like, I'm, like, doing this thing and I don't know what's going on. I'm like, like, just do that.
Long car rides of you just giving me like one sentence answers to questions I thought were too complex for answers.
But vice versa though too.
Yeah, of course.
Because we like between the two of us, it was a lot of just being able to like cut the bullshit with like. Oh, like you told me all the time, like, because I would go into this whole thing, and you're like, you're thinking too much. Remember the first sentence you said? Just do that. Yeah, like, remember you first said, like, I know this is dumb, but and it's like, yep, it is dumb. You already knew it's dumb, so just do exactly
your shit out.
Right.
You know what you have to do. You're just trying to go around it, and that also comes from seeing each other's decisions a lot. I'm obviously very open about my day-to-day, so it was hard to miss any of the goings-on in the sitcom that was Luna's life in fucking high school. And so young adulthood and late adulthood and right now.
I mean, it's just, it's still, you're still figuring stuff out, but everybody is. That's like, that's not like a...
I don't know though, man. I'm fucking killing it figuring shit out right now. The past year, I have come into my own more than ever in my entire fucking
I would
life.
absolutely agree with that.
Thanks.
You've never sounded more sure, and not like blind sure, like you definitely... Like, I've talked with you so many times, and I can definitely say, even just now we'll even bring it down to a silly level. Just from talking from last podcast to this podcast, I have definitely heard so much more, like, just natural confidence and, like, not even, like, trying to exude it. It's literally, you're like, nope, I 100% know where the fuck I'm at with this, and this. And for a long time...
It's a piece.
Yeah, for a long time, I think that's what used to frustrate you the most. in just like normal day-to-day shit. I'm not trying to even make this big. Like in normal day-to-day shit, I think it frustrated you just like it used to frustrate me of like you have answers, but when you're surrounded by a room of people that don't even know what the fuck the question is, it's like
it
puts you in a fucking weird like scenario.
Here we go, talking shit on our friends, our dumb, stupid friends. No, I agree, because that's the thing when you have anxiety or depression or anything, and that's the other thing. The problem is not that they don't know the question; it's that their question is different and they feel the same way. That's something I've learned. It's the same shit you always hear when people talk about adulthood. It's like, don't worry, no one knows what the fuck they're doing.
Yep.
Every moment of every day. If you know somebody has anxiety, assume it's going through their brain.
Yes.
When you go into the world, and this is the oldest, again, this is like a cliche. You don't know what someone's going through.
Yeah.
So when you're interacting with somebody and you realize like, oh my God, these people don't even fucking get it. For all you know, man, they're somewhere else. So I've just tried to do this thing where, and Dave made a point. One of my three people, my three important, like, best friend, Dave, makes a point to tell me that when I first came out as trans, I had a fairly and definitely, I'm going to call it self-focused, some people would say very self-centered and selfish mentality.
Yeah.
Because going into it, I was literally going, fuck everything else I've been stressed about.
Yep.
What the fuck is going on with this?
Yep.
And then I focused in on it, and now it's made me hyper-aware politically and with media and games and stuff, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
It's literally ruined anime because the way that, like, trans people are pushed around in the industry and stuff. Games are difficult. The same reason I didn't buy Catherine Full Body. Erica.
We gotta talk. Yeah, let's talk about that.
So trans people in video games.
On a side note, you have to stop smacking the table. I love you to death, but you smack this table, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, I was doing so good last time because I was self-aware. Now I'm just.
Yep.
Yeah, might be.
It all comes back self-aware.
Yeah, shit.
So it's all about you. So anyway.
Trans people in video games get a bad rap, or they get a totally good one for all of 5 minutes before they're out.
Well, so it's even just to even like go on a different thing, like super quick, because I don't want to derail, and I apologize. But something that I have noticed lately, and I never thought about it until I actually was like rereading some stuff. In shonen, I don't think there's a shonen anime or manga that is properly done just women. Like, even to like just different. I'm not even saying a bigger or smaller scale, just a different scale. They have done women poorly in shonen in almost every shonen.
Yeah,
like almost every.
Even if you have
shonen.
A strong like Fire Force, right? The only
character, or even like Maka with Soul Eater. That's like the only one I can think of. That,
Ochiko also has like a good personality, but they're
so
still
far, but it's still like side character shit.
Yep,
like really side character shit.
Absolutely.
Like, I need, and I think they have time. I'm not knocking them,
but still,
they have time to move the fucking needle.
And I think so. My problem is, you look at My Hero and you go, "Oh my god, it's like so much better than normal," and then you see like Yorozu, who's literally supposed to be like 14 or 15 in the series, and she's got the most revealing outfit I've seen in a superhero thing.
Yep.
And then you have Bubble Girl, who quite literally is just underboob for the entirety of her thing.
Yep.
There's a difference between empowering a woman in a series and giving her like a sex-based ability. I get it. Yeah. Some girls, like, I would love to just wake up tomorrow and be some magic succubus hot chick, whatever. Yeah. Cool.
Well, it's the same concept of like even if you flip like manga and shit into comics, like it's the same. Like, I mean, not a superpower, but you can put the same concept of like Black Cat and like Spider-Man.
Yeah,
where
absolutely.
It's like there's a sex appeal, but there's intelligence and there's a diligence behind it.
Yeah.
It's not thrown.
The sex appeal is empowering to her to an extent. Which,
yes.
Have you watched Eden of the East?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so Lauren and I just revisited it.
Bonkers fucking show.
Tremendous. But the serial killer in it.
Yes.
She has a confidence about her. I think she's better written than a lot of the women in series that I've been watching recently. Mm-hmm. Just because they give her an agency on her own. They have somebody who does not fucking get it. Akira Takezawa's interaction with her is, oh, you've been mistreated by Johnny's your entire life. How about I treat you right with mine? And she's just like, down.
Yeah.
So terribly written
Yep.
for that specific part, but the rest of the anime is fantastic.
I think it's that thing too of like it's very rare, and especially like in anime, not adaptation, just like in anime, I think it's very rare to see, especially women. Like you'll see men in a lot of situations, like it's fucking like Naruto, like I'm gonna be Hokage, and like fucking Luffy, of like I'm gonna be king of the pirate, and like those characters you resonate with so strongly because they have such a ideal. And that ideal will not be broken.
And their aspiration is you want to see them win.
Yes, and on top of it, well, and like, and also what makes it so much more, like, and like people won't ever say this, but it's like, but what's so motivating is watching intensively, and it's, people don't ever bring this up as the main crux, and it frustrates me, but it's like, watching the challenges that they actually have to go through, and literally, like, the best moments of those characters are the direct obstacle of it.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely. It's overcoming constantly, and that's what shonen's about is having that ability to whatever.
Yes.
My issue right now that I've been running into is in showing my girlfriend these animes that I grew up on.
Yeah.
Because I watched In the East when I was in fucking college.
Yeah.
Like we watched Steins Gate recently. I'm trying to take her on a tour of anime that aren't.
Steins Gate's so good.
It's tremendous.
Jesus Christ.
And
it's
that's the problem is you have these anime that are phenomenal.
Yep.
And then there's one part in it that you're just like, I can't watch this right now.
They missed the mark.
And there's whether it be like underage girls and stuff, which every podcast in the internet that talks about anime is either going to talk about their waifus or how fucked up it is that these girls are 14.
Yes.
Those are your two options.
Yep.
So sorry to be a cliche there.
No, it's true. But it is true. That's the thing. It's so funny. The older I get, I used to joke because I used to think like, oh, like when I get older, I'm going to be into the same things I'm still into. The biggest thing of why I only watch the older things that I'm so used to, because I am one of those people, and like I'll like anybody can roast me in the fucking comments. Like I'm a person, I am 30 times more hesitant to watch something new, even if it looks good.
Yeah.
Just because I'm like, it's new. The fucking direction now is just not the same as it used to be.
The animation looks good for some of this stuff, but yeah. It's immediately
like it's very like back in the day. If you like, perfect example. If you were to ask me to watch an anime 10 years ago, I'm like, I'm fucking in. Like, oh, this shit's happening.
A new one, let's do it.
Yeah, like I'm fucking in. Like someone recommended it to me that also enjoys anime. I'm fucking in. I cannot tell you at this point in time how many people have recommended me anime, and I'm like, I literally tell them, I'm never gonna watch it. Like, I'm sorry, it sounds kind of cool, but it's not.
Yeah.
There's no fucking way. Like,
it took Brunk like 2 years to convince me to read My Hero. It took me that long because of it, and now, granted, I love it, and I think they're taking it in a great direction, but it doesn't change the flaw.
I'll do you one better. If I never found the manga before the anime, I probably still would have not watched it.
Yeah.
Even just out of spite of the popularity of it and shit, because sometimes the popularity kills me.
It's the reason I haven't watched Game of Thrones yet. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So in anime, right, there's this constant...
By the way, after this, we're getting back to Catherine. I do want to rubber band back to it.
Yeah, so this is actually still on that topic.
Yes, yeah. Oh, it is. I just wanted to make sure that we still brung up the crux, because I really derailed it, so I apologize.
So, in anime right now, there is a small little issue where you'll have a character introduced, you find out that they're trans, or it's alluded to, it's never said in sure terms, and then it's something at their expense later on.
Yeah.
Or it's weird
like
to an extent.
It's like a weird reveal.
Yeah, like Princess Mermaid. They have this, it's a song that's popular from an anime that I haven't even watched, so I will own that right now. For the context, I have no idea.
Cool.
But it's basically these four, like what's the babies? Four babies at the same time?
It's not triplets.
Or quintuplets. It's the what the
quadruplets?
Quadruplets.
That sounds weird.
Yeah, but I think it's just because we danced around it and I'm fucking dumb.
But I think it sounds like so much longer of a word. I think that's why it sounds
Yeah.
Also, for some reason, it sounds like droplets, and that sounds weird.
Did you do droplets?
No! I'm sorry.
Droplets.
It's just the way... It's just... The four babies are aerodynamic, and they ride on water, man!
So yes, the four identical babies, what it is three of them dance in these, I don't know, almost like Lolita style, whatever. They have these high voices, and their song is all swear words, and it's comical. It's literally, the worst, most crass
you're talking about the fucking, oh my god,
It's like a doo-wop song that they do.
What's the fucking name of the show?
I don't know.
It's I just watched it. Oh, hold on. I literally just watched this. It's the same director of Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh my god, fuck!
It's
I know
not
exactly.
dandy.
I know exactly the song you're talking about. It's like the greatest song of all time. Where it's like shoo up, fuck shit, bitch.
Yeah.
Doo-da-bop. Yeah, I know exactly.
Now
what
that
you're
I'm
talking
thinking about it, I don't think it's Princess Mermaid. I think it's something.
It's something and something. It's something and Tuesday.
I don't know.
No, the chick's name is Tuesday and something else. Marilyn Tuesday? Fuck, hold on. I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah, so that became this thing where I was like, oh my god, look at this. They're doing this, like, all these girls, they're feminine, and then they have facial hair. Like, haha, okay.
Yes.
And then it's like, okay, so they're going to be weird characters. And then I thought to myself,
Carol and Tuesday.
Carol and Tuesday. Okay. So yeah, this series, again, I didn't watch it for the context. So for all I know, they're...
It's an here, I'll even preface this for you.
Okay.
So now I can give this to you. So only in that bit, the four of them are introduced in literally like 5 seconds. The premise of the show is it's two chicks that pretty much just like found each other. One's like super rich royalty. One's like living like slummy on like streets and shit.
Okay.
They end up collaborating, make music together. Both feel like they don't have a sense of belonging, so they write their own shit, and then they just literally are like starting up. And near the end of the series, near the end of season 1, they do like an American Idol type competition.
Yeah, which that was definitely the setting that I saw.
And that's literally it. They're only introduced for like 10 seconds. They get introduced, they do that, and then they get cut in like the middle of the song because the song's like super profanity.
So yeah, that
there it is.
That whole deal sparked this interest in where I was just like, I want to see what shows have trans characters.
Yeah.
But the problem
makes
is,
sense.
representation is great and everything.
Well, that's how even on a different note, that's how most people, even to begin, resonate with anime.
Yeah.
That's something
connection.
I can fuck with. Let's figure that shit out.
So Ryuka, is it Ryuka? Yeah. In Steins Gate is the shrine girl.
Yes.
And the entire plot for that series
literally
lies within her coming to terms with being trans.
Yep.
Asking them to, small spoilers for Steins Gate, but I'll stay vague.
Yeah.
Use their time machine to rewrite that she's born a girl.
Yes.
But again, trans character, based on this whole, like, if you eat a lot of veggies, you have a girl. It's like superstitious, but whatever.
Yeah.
And then towards the end of the series, there's something that makes them undo the changes that they do, literally bringing her back to being born, like, as a boy.
Yep.
They literally unwrite the transition, and there's just this awful, like, the whole time I just felt the dread of, like, how I would have to feel if somebody was just like, sorry, I undid that for you. And then
it
I'm
resonates with you so well.
Exactly.
Like,
and
totally get that.
The idea of in 5 years someone having to go like, Luna, you have to stop, like, it would destroy me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then I'm watching some other stuff, and it comes down to, okay, well, what other trans characters in media are there?
Yeah.
You have characters like Astolfo from Fate, where it's like a trap character, and Felix
but
from
the worst part
ReZero.
is the problem though with like Fate is like
it's a cringy, like
the fan service.
It's horny.
It's
real horny.
The fan service level is absurd. One character that before we get into Fate, let me preface it this way. The whole background and mythology of a character of Ishtar is like super dope. I've vibed with that, like,
they write really good
type setup
stuff to an extent.
so before we even get on Fate's aspect, the first thing that really fucked with Ishtar, which I was like, this is amazing, and this is like such a cool, weird pseudo interpretation and get like the thunder and that type of power into it, is a character named Ishtar who's in a Fire Emblem game. Okay. And it is one of my favorite overarching stories in it. And I'm not gonna get into the whole fucking thing over the podcast, but it's like one of the best stories overall. So when I even hear like Fate was doing like an Ishtar type archetype, I was like, that's awesome. I was like, fuck yeah. I was like, I'm already in before it even started. Then I saw what the fuck they did, which is, hey, let's take Rin, an already well-known mage user, and make her literally practically naked. Sitting on like a fucking crescent moon fucking like archer bow. And I was like, what the fuck has anything
Yeah.
to do with anything of why the fuck this is, like, thrown in my fucking face?
And they probably pat themselves on the back for giving a cool, strong chick.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't do...
Well, they do.
Yeah.
We literally just saw something where it's like, hey, here's a strong female lead. And I'm like, yes, but you put a blemish on it.
Yeah.
And you didn't need to. And you didn't need to.
Yeah.
Because that's
Oh
a
my God,
character.
no.
Because that's premised off a character. So, like, even take that as an example. You have Rin, who in Fate Stay Night Infinite Blade Works, you have a character fully clothed, strong female lead,
Capable.
doing her shit, running her own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, like, of course, like, is there a point where she gets, like, smacked down and then, like, oh no, like...
It's still fucking anime.
But didn't put her in a damsel in distress role.
True.
Still does her own independent shit. Signs off her own fucking archer fucking hero. And then still does her own shit. So it's like, listen, like, is she the lead character? No. But even as, like, the secondary character, still doing plenty to give her credit. And then in a fucking anime, it's based off a fucking app game, they just demolished any... Oh, well, she has more powers. So, like, oh, that makes her better. It's like, yeah, but more powers doesn't mean less clothes.
Yeah.
And, like, yes.
It doesn't need to.
And
you
yes,
can skip that
and, like,
shit.
and listen, anybody can enjoy any type of media. I'm not bashing anyone for fucking enjoying it. But, and listen, like, at the end of the day, yes, I'll clown with anybody about, like, oh, like, that's cool. But, like, at the same time, don't actually come to me and then
You need
seriously
to
be
be
like, that's a progressive fucking move, because it's not.
Yeah, the play that I've
just
seen
not.
the most right now is someone will either put in a trans character or something that remotely involves being like intersex or even LGBT or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you see nothing of it until a joke is made.
Or
With
until,
Ryuka,
or until there's, like, a weird premise type.
yeah, so with Ryuka, there's literally a moment where the main protagonist, Okabe, is talking about how Ryuka is this blossom of a flower and the most adorable and delicate person he's ever met. And then he cuts aside and he says the punchline, which is, but still a dude.
Yeah.
And it's, throughout the entire series, it's just played into beautiful, amazing, magnificent, but still a dude.
Yeah.
And then you go into things like One Piece.
Yeah.
One Piece, the entire story arc for Sanji during the time skip was that he's trapped on Okama Island,
Yep.
where he's chased around every single day like a hellish torture by trans women who are just dudes in dresses with hairy legs and facial hair.
But I will say, One Piece, and I'm not giving One Piece...
Let alone the Rocky Horror Show fucking
Yeah,
pirate
yeah, yeah.
is
I'm not giving...
also an abomination.
Yeah, I'm not giving, like, One Piece a pass, but at the same time, like, One Piece is just ridiculously over-exaggerated to every extent.
Yeah, so, and that's the thing. So I can write off a lot of the stuff, or I can excuse it for what it is. But
as you've been saying this, I've seriously been trying to brainstorm, like, any character. The most predominant one I could think of, and it's not, like, a main character, but it's definitely a character that everyone remembers, I would say is Haku from Naruto.
yeah, and Haku...
And yet again, though, not explicit, but
Yeah,
as you just said
exactly.
before, not explicit, but also, I mean...
It was clearly shown, but not stated.
Let me also say this, though, to give that credit. It did not need it, like, it didn't need to be said. Also, to just, like, throw a banner up there to be like, hey, like, do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
the one thing I would have
needed... It actually was there. It was a part of the story. And yes, maybe there was, like, a minute of, like, Naruto just being like, what? Of just, like, the initial confusion.
But there was nothing like,
but it was
Europe. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it was, and then even at the end, like, Zabuza, like, confesses his, like, fucking, like, love. And, like, and that's, and it was, like, and it's, no matter what anybody says, it was a beautiful fucking moment.
It was.
And even in the Rido Tensei, when they fucking get, like, reawoken and shit, and then it kind of pseudo happens again, and you're just like,
that entire interaction, and Haku was fantastic.
Yeah.
But still, again, not explicitly stated. But then you have the curse of other things. We talked about Catherine, or we're going to, I should say.
Yeah.
What's spawning all of this is that Nick has the special edition sheep in the polka dot boxers, like the ram, and I've just been playing with it since I came here. I love it so much. Catherine is an amazing game with a very interesting story with some heady decisions and some crazy consequences. It has some amazing visuals and imagery. But Erica, the cafe redhead, is a trans woman, and not even Catherine skips the fucking jokes.
Yeah.
There's a point in time where one of Norman, what's his name? What's the main character's name? It's not Norman. I'm just fucking on Vincent. Vincent makes a point to say to one of his friends, you know, blah, blah, blah. And his friend responds like, I kind of have a thing for Erica.
Yep.
And he literally is like, are you sure? Because, you know, she's like not always been. And you can't just let it go or be in a way where this person, okay, you want to talk about perfect representation? Flack. Flack was a non-binary, amazing character.
Yep.
They were voiced by ProZD, so they got a good fucking voice actor for this thing.
Yep.
Flack had more depth of character in some of the lines of dialogue than most trans or fucking Christ
okay.
binary people.
We've been talking a long time.
Yeah, for real. And again, for a living.
Yes.
But the representation that people get is so negligible.
Yeah.
And then you have Flack who rolls up and they have a pin on their backpack that is the non-binary flag coloring. That was fucking amazing. Mm-hmm. If they would put a pin on Erica's like blouse or whatever that was the trans pride, or you drop a thing where somebody like misgenders and corrects themselves, the real plight of a trans person where it's people you've known for 10 years who go, well shit, you know what I mean, she is.
Yes.
That's what it's like.
So
but instead, it's got to be well, you know, there used to be a penis.
Yeah.
Really? That's the entire joke you have?
Yeah. I will, now to give, yet again, and I'm not trying to just always play devil's advocate for it.
No, but of course, that's conversation.
Because the things are stated. But, like, the only thing I'm at least more understanding of Catherine than most of those forms of media is, like, Catherine did come out, 12 years ago.
Exactly, and that's the thing with Eden of the East and Steins Gate, both around 2010, 2012.
Yes. And that was still during the age where people were throwing around a different type of F word.
Yeah.
And
that's the thing.
Casually.
Right now, we have probably progressed to the point where anime can regularly pass in such a way that isn't like whatever. Yeah. So Interspecies Reviewer. Have you seen anything on this anime? So it got removed from all networks.
Like immediately.
Yeah. So in the second episode, one of the characters, this is the two I've seen because of this character. Yep. There's a thing about hyenas where they're like literally built in such a way that even the feminine, like a female hyena will still have like junk.
Yeah.
And there's an entire punchline where one of the characters, they go to like a gender bend spa where they have sex with whatever and they get to choose, but they're all women that time.
Oh,
and it's even that was more respectful.
Yeah.
As someone who was sleeping with someone.
It's not even like handled like that. So
it's like laughable.
Here's what's actually really funny. So actually do me a favor. And I swear to God, this could not have been timed out better. So in Grand Blue, which is a game that you're currently holding right now.
In my hand.
Yep. I'm
holding the disc. I'm about to break it.
Here, actually, wait, do me a favor. Here, let me see it real quick. So, I don't know if it's on, and by the way, I apologize to every fucking audio listener because you're this whole time going, great, they're really talking about something that I can't fucking see. Okay, so, the character that is on the far right, and I want you to look into it the next time you get a chance. I can't think of the name of the character.
The blue hair one?
No, the
red.
The reddish hair luchador.
Oh, okay. Oh, literally the far right.
Her name is Ladiva.
Okay.
And she has like a beard.
Yeah.
Like all this shit. And they make zero in the entire game. They make zero joke. They make zero reference. It's just a thing. Yep. And, like, just in the dialogue, it's like, yep, like, we gotta, like, kick her ass, or, like, yep, like, she's doing a fucking special move, and, like, that's it.
That's tremendous.
Yeah.
And see, that's the kind of, okay, did you,
I totally, like, I didn't even, like,
that's
and
then
I literally just picked it up, and I was like, holy fuck, it's insane. I just read, now, I said a lot of cool things, and then I'm gonna say a really dumb thing, so bear with me. One particular thing wrote a very big explicit thing on it, and it was Kotaku. But they did a really good job.
Good. Yeah, which I don't know. I don't distrust them all that much.
I trust them, but sometimes there's things are just like so here's what's funny. I don't distrust them for why most people distrust them. I distrust them because sometimes they are too comfortable and they go like, I played a game and it was cool, and I'm like, you wrote dribble on a page.
Yeah, I need you
wasted
to actually critique something or don't write about it.
Exactly, and do not just say it's like blase blah and throw a bunch of just garbage.
That makes me not want it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, or like that's the thing too of like I almost now want to buy it to actually play it to then write a real fucking review because of how fucking bland that review was.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's like if you did hate it, that's fine. If you thought it was boring, that's fine. But tell me how you thought it was boring. Do not just write like, yeah, it just seemed to not go anywhere.
Combat was repetitive.
It's like, fuck off. Like, give me something.
Yeah, I want to know
tangible.
why you hated the combat.
Yeah, like, or something. That's my biggest thing. That's my biggest thing with Kotaku. Some people don't even trust the validity of it. I would personally disagree, but yet again, I've only been like reading it for the past maybe like 3 or 4 years. So people previous probably have like a different opinion. But.
Yeah, but also that's a totally different time frame.
Yes,
You're talking
yet again,
like, that's a different writing style and everything. And
yep.
I don't know.
Even
People forget
culture.
that journalism is also a job that people leave and stuff.
Absolutely.
So like you might not
or
like
adapt,
a reviewer. Yeah,
adapt
exactly.
Or change. Or
There are a couple people that I trust for like all out reviews, but even then I still play the stuff if I'm interested because
absolutely.
I don't know. It's hard to break your interest on something you actually want.
I was about to say like here's another like you were just even talking about like Catherine and stuff. It's like another prime example of like and everybody has their own line of it, but it's the same thing of like there's old anime that you'll check out because you super appreciate and but there's definitely probably some facets of it where you're like I mean now let me try to lessen the severity like 30 times more. One thing that has depressed me so much and always so every year for probably as long as I've been watching anime until I said like yes I've watched a copious amount of anime. Code Geass was like in my top 10.
I remember,
and for a pretty long time it was in my top 5.
You tried very hard to get me to watch
and
it.
For a while it was my top 3, and now like I can easily say since I've been like 25 it's my favorite anime of all time. And now like if you ask me it now as opposed to even years before, the silliest reason if you were like just tell me the dumbest reason why it's like your favorite anime, this is the sole reason. They did the best ending that an anime could do, and animes 90% of the time do not hit the mark of the end.
Yeah, no, I actually
almost
agree.
Fuck up, and I didn't think about that until a couple years back.
That's why Future Diary is my favorite for the same reason.
Exactly.
The ending left me speechless
because right at the beginning of the show they went we have a beginning and we do have an end point. Yep. We have a conclusive fucking end point, and now we have to draw a fucking line of how the fuck we're gonna get there.
But see, that's the other thing. Drawing that clear line of this is our goal and this is what we need to do. It's the same reason I don't do it in D&D. It's a different...
Well, that's a very different space.
Exactly, yeah. So
very
you want to have an end goal visible so that when you get to 80% towards the finish line and one thing's not wrapped up, the tension is there.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
In Future Diary, it's, okay, somebody could try and kill them at any given time. Like, they have to do this quickly. So the weight is there. Oh, that anime is a fucking masterpiece.
That one throws a intensity with time.
Yeah, which Eden of the East has a very similar mechanic.
Yes. Very true.
Like eerily similar, which is funny because they're two of like the notable anime. Like if you asked me 2 anime that affected me over the past decade, those would be my 2.
And it probably Eden of the East fucked with you even harder because it drew similarities to Future Diary.
Yeah,
I would say
which is awesome.
I totally get that. I mean, listen. First of all, so the only and even more so that's why I like Code Geass for me personally because it beats out my norm. My norm is space western.
Yeah.
Cowboy Bebop, Trigun, Outlaw Star.
Yeah.
Those are like, you fucking give me any
Outlaw
episode.
Star, I'm like 2 episodes in.
You give me fucking any episode of that, any fucking time of day, place, I will be like, this is perfect. This is all the fuck I need. This is life. But that's why I even appreciate, at least for me, Geass so much more, because it breaks that norm completely for me.
Yeah, it just hit you.
If it goes like, hey, by the way, like, because if you explain Code Geass poorly and it's real easy to do, people would be like, oh, it's the dumbest anime of all time. Because if I explained it bad, like, explain a good anime bad.
Mind control in mech suits.
Oh, no. Way worse. Mind control in a high school half the time. And one guy has, like, a girl tied up in his, like, room half the time. And, like, that you technically could go,
rough.
that's right. But they're so, and, like, yeah, it's very easy to explain them poorly. But, like, yeah, that one just but getting to endings, it's like it's so tough to find that like resolution. Like it's so fucking difficult to like find ones that like hit the mark on just like every fucking facet.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to think in terms of just stuff that's really resonated with me, but even talking anime that are on paper the opposite of what I want.
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
never, and you've heard me say this, never given a single fuck about mech suits.
Yes,
never.
no, absolutely.
Oh my god, I've talked more shit on Gundam than probably any anime trope in the universe.
You have.
Since they've grown on me. It's the same thing that's happened with like Star Wars. It's like I know enough about the universe now that I can appreciate it, but I'm still not gonna buy like a model kit.
Oh, yeah.
But
and I would never expect you to, by the way.
Damn Gurren Lagann.
Yeah.
It is the only mech suit anime that I've ever even remotely cared about, and it has just blown me away every time I've watched it, and it still sticks with me. I have songs on my Spotify playlist that reference the fucking anime.
It's in my top 5 forever.
It's tremendous. And that chaos and the absurdity, I was disappointed when I watched Kill la Kill because I didn't get the same weight there.
Absolutely.
I liked it, but again, like there's a difference between having, what is her name, Yoko?
Yeah.
Walking around all but topless the entire anime, and that's like her character is
hot
girl in a bikini with a sniper.
Yep.
But then you look at Kill la Kill, there's something fucked up about using a high school setting and naked girls.
It is.
If you would make them goddamn adults,
Yep.
it would be a totally other world for me.
And I don't understand why they don't dabble into adulthood
That's
more.
all you need to do. When you have to look up a character's age and go, oh, they're 18, it's like, cool,
well, just
whatever.
even on a different scale, how many fucking times have either one of us played an RPG and you're already like, okay, and then you're like, wait, my main character's 12?
Yeah.
And then that means
Sora at least looked like a kid.
Yeah, and that means, like, what, these older chicks are 16?
Yeah.
Like, Jesus
No,
Christ.
and so still underage and still super creepy.
Yeah.
It's the issue that I'm having, like, Lauren and I were trying to play Doki Doki.
Okay.
And while it's fantastically done, between the absolute
I still haven't
monstrosity...
played it, but yeah, I do want to.
Dude, I won't even go into the spoilers for it, but
it's just the fourth wall. The minute fourth wall starts happening, that's exactly where I'm in.
And like the chaos for it in general, it's like it's a fucking bona fide horror game. So you're going through it differently, but all the girls are 14 or 15.
Yep.
So in being 27 years old now, I'm looking at it in a way like I'm an older sibling.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it with a maternal instinct, and I'm going like, these kids can't go through this shit. Like, I want to protect them for a different reason, which I get people always do that, like, protect them at all costs, but it's like, I want to protect them from the writers.
Yeah,
like, I want somebody to be an adult and suffer through these things. For Sword Art is the one time I could accept it because they were taken out of the realm where age made you a student. Yes. And it was, you have to deal with these real problems right now, grow the fuck up.
Yeah,
and that's what made it so traumatic.
Go for it.
But then you still have the introduction of Silica, where she's walking around a garden and gets attacked by a fucking tentacle plant. And I wish anime for just one goddamn minute could take a step away from there. And the self-aware shit, like pantyhose and stocking or whatever the fuck. Like shit like that. Did you watch any Punchline yet?
No, I haven't.
It's a new Hulu drop, and it's this awesome superhero-oriented. The art style very much reminds me of, I don't want to say Kill la Kill, but like, did you watch Dimension W?
Yes.
Yeah. So Dimension W's like pseudo-modern art style with like the fluid motion of shampoo kind of stuff.
Yes.
It's got that vibe to it, but all the animation, like, definitely look up a graphic from it and everything. But the entire story, from my understanding, is a group of people that live in an apartment complex that are all superheroes in their off time. Everything from like a girl in the chair to be like, Overwatch style. And then you have this one that's like the peppy whatever. And then the guy's superpower is Mob Psycho-esque, where he has a meter that fills about how excited he gets when he sees panties. So they lewd the women just enough for him to get riled up. And then he has this thing where his hair goes red, like Launch when she would sneeze. And then if he sees more, he fills up on his face like red because he does the whole like nostril nosebleed. And then the world blows up because an asteroid hits it. And then he goes back in time and has to try again. The whole fucking anime resolves around this dude just avoiding seeing naked women as like a teen boy. But I'm watching it because it's written in a way where it's like these girls are like these dumb idiots, but they're adults living on their own in their apartments or whatever. And at one point he's like ghost haunting through the household, and he literally is just like one's looking for something, and he sees her panties and he freaks out, and it's funny enough, but it like relies on it in such a way that you can appreciate that it knows it's stupid. It's self-aware.
It's so
still
funny.
Super cringy though.
Yes. It's so funny that we're talking about this, and like, I usually hate being this person to bring it up this way, but it is, and I'm like not even ashamed to bring it up this way, but I'm just being serious. You want to take an anime that is primarily adults. You have just a sprinkle of kids, and you're dealing with a lot of like adult issues and like big old fucking themes, and that's Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have full adults having adults, so
and the kids that's why, don't get into the shit.
Yeah, exactly, and they intentionally go like, yep, like you have like Spike and shit going, yep, that's a kid, and like even the first thing. It's so good, and it's so underappreciated, even on the realm of anime, because people look at it and go like, oh, Spike's just like a fucking, like, dude. But one of the first fucking things he says is, like, there's 3 things I hate. Like, pets, children, and women with attitudes. And it's like, it so hits the mark because there's always those fucking tropes, and without even you thinking about it that way.
It fits into it. Yeah, and I mean, also, Bebop was written in a way that all the characters they're not all likable. But you absolutely. Can appreciate them, the best, which is awesome.
The best thing about Bebop is, like, when the running joke that I personally have with people, if people go, oh, Spike is, like, so cool and all the things he does, like, fucking cool, I'm like,
Jed's cooler.
It's not even that. It's you haven't watched Bebop enough.
Yeah.
Because what you're supposed to get out of everything is all 3, like, I mean, like, Ed's an entirely different
thing. They're all
thing.
fuck-ups.
Ed's an entirely different thing, but the Crux 3 are all losers.
Yeah.
They're all losers.
That's their whole thing. That's why they get along.
Spike's, like, abandoned and barely has a fucking identity. Jet got pretty much, like, his heart broken and is pretty much just, like, drifting out in space.
Now.
Him and his plants. He just has, like, he got even, like, his job betrayed him. His fucking wife, or, like, fiance betrayed him. And then now he's just fucking as a garden. And, like, Faye has, like, no even concept of what her fucking past is.
No.
And it's throwing like her fucking body wherever the fuck it can be to get what she needs and do what she can.
Which power to her in a galaxy full
exactly.
of people. Like that's the thing. So and that's your empowerment.
Yep.
Just because a character was hot doesn't mean that had to be the whole thing. And so I've seen it with a similar trend with like 7 Deadly Sins and stuff.
And they did have a trans character in Bebop. And they did kind of have a moment. And they didn't really.
I feel like it's tip of my tongue. Like
it's the episode where the first they're in the winter place. So the best way to memorize is Spike's wearing that weird pink like puffy coat for the whole episode.
Okay.
So Spike is going after the what is it, the fucking black dragon or whatever, because he's finding Vicious.
Yeah.
And Vicious's old army buddy is a guy who transitioned into a girl and is taking like these genetic drugs.
Jupiter Jazz.
There it is. That was and I don't think, but yet again, now we could like super pick this apart. I think initially the drug was for something else, but then ended up being a side effect of that.
Yeah.
Now, but
again, still a character.
I do need to rewatch the episode to like 100% clarify that, because I might be misquoting things here. But there's a whole pivotal scene where like Faye's talking to quote unquote him, because it's like that's like the premise.
Anime.
And then the minute like and then not Faye, but you know, the fucking woman's in the shower, and then there's this fucking scene where like, Faye pulls up.
Yeah, where she turns and you see her tits basically.
Exactly.
Not see them, but they're.
It's
clear that they are there.
Yes, exactly. And then there's a whole like beat for beat fucking moment of a bit. But whether, and I will say this though, whether that whole drug thing is like a thing, that person loves fucking Vicious. That's regardless of whatever they even go with the gender aspect of it. That person is in love with Vicious 100%. They even have a flashback moment, and like and yet again, I think they do a great job of like, does Vicious have to love that person? Like, no, and like even is it even put on paper whether they had or did not have a relationship?
It doesn't matter.
No, and it doesn't matter to the story, because, and it also doesn't need to be.
It's why the person cares, not their backstory.
Bingo. It's a feature that is important to the narrative of what's being written, but it also doesn't 100% define the character.
And it doesn't need to derail for a whole episode. Dude, trans representation doesn't mean I need an episode talking about how great fucking Kirishima's life is since he came out as a trans dude or something. But there's so many.
But there could also be better representation as a whole. That I would 100% agree.
I don't know. Like, Lauren and I have recently we've been looking at media and just trying to find stuff. And even things as simple as Twin Peaks had a character that
Yep.
like progressively transitioned and stuff. Like there are things that I'm finding that are making me a little bit more comfortable with media as a whole, but finding things is...
You know, it's a really weird show that I'd have to rewatch, and it's also like me saying this one, like, please take it with a big old grain of salt. But one show I used to like guilty pleasure love watching all the time was Nip Tuck. And that's another one where like they definitely, for even when it came out, they pressed on a lot of boundaries that were not nearly as comfortable to talk about.
Yeah, that, I mean, that's the thing when you're actively changing your body or whatever. Like it I don't know. There's this whole thing that comes with getting like major surgeries, whether it be organ changes or whatever, where you get like post depression and stuff like that. You know, all this regret and blah blah blah.
It's just major when a major change happens at all,
especially one like medically speaking. Yeah, of course. So it's weird because they don't. There's so many different cultures that respect trans identity in many other terms and stuff. And there's old titles that like, I think they called it in Japanese, it was like other half was one of the terms. I'll have to look it up again later. But the premise is just that meant that you were living as a gender different than anticipated. And certain things there where you have like 3-spirit and stuff, or two-spirit. Fuck, man, I'm educated and it's not showing. But
but I know exactly the...
like other cultures, like native cultures and stuff, there's terms for it that have been lost since I said, like, the World War II, Hitler burned a lot of, like, the sex education books and stuff. That was, like, a big thing. So we lost a lot of unfortunate research in general. And plus, you know, like, testing and stuff that he did. He's just fucking awful shit.
Insane.
So there's this entire side where civilization is now, again, learning that gender is a spectrum the way that it is. And people are becoming more acclimated. But it's like the media I intake, primarily from Japan, hasn't caught up there yet.
Yeah, exactly.
And then maybe I have one specific character that I really connect with, or there's a character like, I don't even know, just, it doesn't necessarily need to be a trans character as much as it can be a character I could see being trans.
Yes, I could. Yeah.
It's
I get what you're saying.
You know, like headcanons or whatever they are, but there's certain things, and I'm trying to think of any off the top of my head. But
I know it's tough. Like even as we were going back and forth, that's why like even when you first brought it up,
and if that ain't the problem, exactly. So the big thing for
the
like,
knowledge between the two of us, for us not being able to go like
exactly,
bam,
and that's the thing. Like we probably listed like a good like 6 or 7.
Yeah,
that's impressive in itself, but. When you're looking at like video games, there's also some people who think of like Riku as like an egg, which is what like trans people call like a non-out trans person.
Yeah.
There's also people who think like Aaron Hansen from the Game Grumps is a trans egg.
The one, the fucking, what is it? Just going on video games really quick. One that I super jammed, and I've always jammed, and the only thing that I think is fucked up is they keep flipping it back and forth in the States. But Street Fighter, Poison.
Yeah.
Poison
historically been and like actively, and that's the thing. Like Poison existing makes me more inclined to play Street Fighter than if someone put a gun to my head and told me I had to.
And I'm seriously not saying this just to like fucking like toot horns here, but seriously, like, Poison is like what Poison, Cammy, and like maybe 2 other characters are like why I got into Street Fighter. In general.
Yeah, I mean they're cool characters.
Yeah.
They're actually like attractive women and whatever. Yeah. Like it's weird to me when people want to show a trans character, they do one of 2 things. They have them do everything for the deceit punchline like Steins Gate.
Yeah.
Or they have it be a deliberate, like, this is a conversation because someone has to go like, but can you believe they used to be a boy?
Yeah, exactly.
But then the worst thing is, as many trans women as we just named, name a trans man.
Yeah.
That the closest I can think of when it comes to like aesthetics and stuff. Think of Danganronpa.
Yes.
Right? The I can't think of what her name is, but the volleyball star?
Yes.
She was very clearly crazy bulk, crazy ripped, just an interesting character.
Yep.
Always gendered as she. It was never even remotely hinted that they might be trans or whatever, but between the 2 things, it's either a punchline of here's this super buff girl or here's this trans woman, and they don't talk about it, and I like that because if you want to identify with a character like that, you can. Yeah. And that's fine. But if they would release some shit like J.K. Rowling did where it's like Dumbledore's gay, if the writers fucking came out like a year later and were like, oh yeah, that's a trans girl, it'd be like, blow it out your ass.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a shit what you say. Like,
Rowling's-
obviously you want attention.
Rowling stuff is absurd.
Yeah. Rowling is, and if you don't know
absurd.
this, listeners, just do the search. She's a garbage person. Just share the
absurd.
world, share the
I'm not.
wealth of information.
I'm not even talking about. I mean, like, no offense. Like, even when everybody first started to fucking blow smoke up her ass, like, my whole initial concept, I was like, listen, no offense, and I'm not trying to throw shade at it, but it's like, you gave a person who was, like, in super poverty a fuck ton of money off, like, essentially, like, a fucking Scientology book at this point of, like,
Yep.
the initial concept of it. And the minute she was like, oh, no, but, like, wait, there's, like, so much more story, and then everyone's like, nah, why don't you calm it the fuck down? Like, because it's like, you can't just keep... You can't retcon your own fucking material that
Yep.
intensively. Listen, I am all for, like, even as we just talked about, you want to talk about, oh, you wrote a book 10 years ago, and maybe there was a fucked up thing in it. And
Yep.
maybe that needs to be reclarified. I'm all for that. But when you just
Yep.
go, no,
Gay.
Dumbledore's gay now.
Gay now.
I mean, you've seen him old before, but, like, no, he's gay.
Now he's gay.
Now he's
gay
gay.
and old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just never want it, and, like, and I'm sorry, but, like, when you say, like, when they say that shit, right? And, like, just to run the train of thought, okay? The problem that I have with it is not even saying that. It's me going, okay, fine. But then let me just mentally then recap what Dumbledore's done.
Oh yeah,
He's raised
nothing
well, it's just like he raised, like, a pseudo kid pretty much as, like, almost his own.
into a
and
child
really-
soldier.
Yep. Which is, like, already weird.
Yep.
And that was weird before, like, throwing a gay thing into it. So then that
Yep.
even puts it weirder. And then it's like, oh, what else is, like, the other major crux of, like, the entire backstory of, like, Harry Potter? Okay. He has a secret alliance with Snape throughout the entire thing. It's a very unspoken thing, and you only find out about it till the end. And it's just that thing of, like, no, do I still think anything happened in those instances? Absolutely not. But now will it always just be a weird tinge in the back of my fucking head because you said a fucking thing like that?
What you did was you took a strange character that people idolized because of whatever, but
Yeah.
the people who read the books know that Dumbledore wasn't great.
Yeah.
So you go through
exactly.
that, and you're going, hey, I know that character that did some shady shit.
Order of the
They're
Phoenix.
gay.
Order of the Phoenix. And, like, I fucking hate that they don't even do it at all in the fucking movie. But Order of Phoenix in the book so properly gets Dumbledore down to a human level. Instead of this, oh my god, he's an amazing wizard. No, he makes fucking mistakes. Like,
He
fucking
does bad
everybody.
stuff. People get hurt for it.
Yep.
He's made mistakes, and he will. People don't like him. Like, yeah, and that's
Yeah.
the thing. You, don't get me wrong, having a character like that that's flawed but tries to redeem themselves, I
Yes.
understand to an extent.
Absolutely.
But you can't just put the gay tag on there and call it what it is.
Absolutely.
But then on the other hand, you have characters that are like gay coded is a term that a lot of people use, where it's like you're meant to see them as gay even if they don't show
Even if
it
it's
that
not,
way.
like, explicit
yeah.
or something.
So just the hyper feminine dudes and stuff. Mr. Two from One Piece, is
Gotcha.
like one of those.
Yes.
But then you have characters like in the new Dragon Quest, Sylvando.
Yeah,
Sylvando's
yeah,
openly
yes.
gay, and
Yes.
you actually know that.
Yes.
And he's like a well-written character.
Yeah.
You have interactions and everything, and
He has a good backstory. Him
Yeah.
and his fucking dad, and, like, all
yeah,
that stuff. He's
like the flamboyance behind
Yes.
it isn't made to poke fun at. Look at this silly character.
Yep.
He is silly, but that's
Yes.
a part of a thing that he embraces.
That's
that's
also
amazing.
a thing that he loves.
And that's
He
Dragon Quest in
literally
general.
he literally has, like, a trope of dudes that carry him around, and that's
Oh my god, yeah,
and
that
that's
outfit is fucking
so
absurd.
funny. And, like, and then literally you walking around the fucking parade and shit, like, it's just, and, like, yes, is that, like, absurd, and, like, would some people see that as going over the top? Absolutely. But if you stick with the character throughout the whole time and actually, like, resonate with them in any shape or form, or just even understand that character, you'll get it.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
you just get it.
I don't know. Giving a certain amount of depth to a character, I don't necessarily need, like, man, I would love more LGBT representation, but then I look at shit like
You also don't want it to get oversaturated.
yeah, because so the worst thing in the world, and I'm sure you hear this all the fucking time, worst thing is super exaggerated there, but a guy came in after Captain Marvel gets announced.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
He's buying Legend figures. He wants to get all of them. He's a huge fan of Marvel and everything. And I
Sounds
go,
great.
are you excited for the new Captain Marvel? And he goes, no, I'm tired of all the politics and the feminist shit. And I had to go, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Because I knew what he meant, but I wanted him to say it to my face.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, it's just always, everything's so political now. It's always got to make a statement. And I was like, so Captain America, the guy that literally punched Nazis and stuff, his number one villain is an ugly, monster-looking zombie, like skull-headed
that's all
fucker
trapped.
Nazi.
Well, literally the Captain America trilogy. It's all
literally
politics.
Not even the comics, the movies.
No, the movies. The whole reason every battle starts in a Captain America movie
is politics. Every single time.
Literally.
He's the reason he exists is politics.
Yeah.
And then you look at things like Captain Marvel and it's like, okay, the fact that they didn't use Maria Rambeau, that sucks infinitely, because we could have had not only the actual authentic Captain Marvel, like Brie Larson is cool as a person.
Yeah.
I like her. I think she did an okay job, all things considered.
I think so too.
Especially with the new things I've learned, which I'll get to in a second with the Avengers filming system. But they could have had a woman of color.
Yeah.
Who literally her co-star, like the black woman who played her, Maria, again, her co-pilot, would have been perfect. And they could have used Maria Rambeau to become Marvel's, like, next person. But instead, they rewrote it so some random white bitch gets this power in a totally different way, not even passed down to her from the mantle like Marvel was.
Like Marvel, yep.
So not only...
Well, it's the whole... Yet again, I'll give, like, Marvel some credit because the whole... It is very difficult to give that character its origin story.
True.
Because its origin story...
lies on another character.
Yeah.
Plus,
lies on
this
a
is
dude
a different.
Initially.
That's their whole thing.
Lies on a guy.
Which
to start.
Yeah, which also sucks because you have that whatever. Which that's part of the movie is the empowerment of her getting it from circumstance rather than handed down.
Yes.
But also, there's a symbolism behind like the symbol of manhood. Handing and passing the mantle down to a woman going, you've earned this.
Yeah.
The you're clearly worthy moment is whatever. But They literally saturated it enough just to make it appeal for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. They could have literally had Maria Rambeau and it would have been perfectly in line with everything. But then on the other hand, I have to take it with a grain of salt because it's the only thing we're getting with a female lead for a while.
Yeah.
Black Widow's happening, but they fucking killed her. They killed her off. Shocker. Endgame spoiler. They kill her. Yep. What the fuck?
Yeah.
You are taking away these characters and entire depth.
Wonder Woman's good.
Yeah, and Wonder Woman is fantastic, and Gal Gadot is a flawless human being.
Real good.
So I really like the depth that they're going through, and they're delivering messages that aren't just like, like girl power.
Yes.
But girl power for the sake of understanding that there are powerful women.
Yes.
And written powerful women.
Yes.
So the way that the Avengers filming works, this is the thing I recently learned. You will receive bits of your script. You will film things out of context, green screen the entire thing, and then later see the scene you're in.
Yes,
So the reason that the Avengers movies fall flat on a lot of their acting, which don't get me wrong, there are some scenes that are just heart-wrenching. The Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good line hit you like a ton of bricks.
Yeah,
but
Infinity War and Endgame are like... phenomenal, in my opinion. Like just phenomenal.
They're just good
bottom.
movies. They're good movies. They have a lot in them. Even if you can see the flaws, that's good. You can critique art. That's how it should be. But at their core, they're enjoyable. The story was well written enough.
Endgame for me is like just an absurdly impeccable movie for a movie that shouldn't.
It did all the stuff I wanted
for a movie that shouldn't be. That movie has so much hype, and it's like. There's no fucking way they're gonna
shouldn't be as good as it actually was.
There's no way they're gonna hit every beat, tell a good fucking story, and get me to fucking actually rope in. And they roped in.
Not to mention they make you care about Thanos.
Yeah.
They make you care about the circumstances that are left behind. They leave you with things that are important and weighted and heady. And I like it. And I like the decision that they made. There's certain things I would change, but that's anything.
I was just gonna say, but that's more a personal opinion, not to actually critique the movie. Like the only concept that I always get mad at, ironically enough, since we're talking about Captain Marvel, the only thing that actually does frustrate me the most is like just the literally copy and paste Superman complex. That is the only thing where I'm just like, okay, so she just like, are we gonna get the only like biggest critique I have on Marvel as a whole with the cinematic universe is like, we need to put power scaling and we need to understand what that means. Because like, first of all, what does fucking oh my god, why can't I what is like, write down on a piece of paper what Scarlet Witch's powers are, because
oh my god,
what the fuck is it? Is she telekinetic? Is she Can she just move shit with her mind? Is it also, there's like a red aura, so there's also power?
So
she can sometimes do like Cyclops beams? Like,
in
what the
comic,
fuck?
do you want to know what her power is? It's fucking reality warping.
Yes.
She is the most broken character that they could have put into the Avengers.
Yeah.
And they literally dropped her in.
Absurd. House of M literally rewrites all of like X-Men and the Marvel Universe because of Scarlet Witch.
Both Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver were too strong to keep. And they went, we got to keep one and downsize them.
Yeah.
Because Quicksilver... There's no reason that Quicksilver should have had any of the shit happen to him.
No,
that was the whole fucking point, was Quicksilver was too capable. And, oh my god, Scarlet Witch frustrates the shit out of me because Scarlet Witch should be able to literally write Thanos out of existence, just change stuff.
Totally. Well, my thing is this, in time.
Yes, exactly. So right now, she's understanding what it is on a certain level, but we will never see on an actual... capable level.
My whole thing is we're never going to see the penultimate thing that I would love to see in a Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Cosmic Ghost Rider?
We're never... yeah, almost. We're never going to see a House of M, Doctor Strange, Professor Xavier, and like half of the fucking universe gets rewritten, and then we're in alternate fucking realities, and then that's like the perfect trope to do. Now, I will give them some credit. The thing I am the most excited for in the upcoming Marvel projects is those one-shots.
Yeah.
Where they're talking about doing one shot, what if, and I'm like, that is all I've waited for.
Yeah,
that is all I've waited for.
That's all we want.
For a bunch of people in a room to go like, dude, can we just write this fucking comic? But then they go, no, because then they have to first understand the character and why they're doing this and how that even, it's like, no, let's just write the dope fucking story.
Yep. Because
we know, like, just as a dumb example, like, we know fucking Spider-Man. We don't need to know his origin story 36 times. We don't need to know what love interest or what the, just write him. We just say the name Mary Jane and we're gonna get it.
Yep.
Say the name Gwen Stacy, we're gonna get it. Like
Yep.
you don't need to put that.
It doesn't
much...
matter if he has 8 arms or web wings or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
Or if he's black or white or whatever the fuck's going on. Just put it in and just go. Like just start the fucking premise, and as natural comic goers or like fucking like we're just gonna go, okay, that's the introduction of the character.
This is the new character.
I don't need a whole 30-minute fucking backstory write-up of just like, okay, is that the character introduction we're getting? Dope. Keep going. I just want to know what keeps going.
Flashbacks and plot line changes are a thing that if you're a good writer, you can put in. You don't need to explain a character to begin with. These origin story movies are so shitty at this point.
My favorite, just to flip that, and we'll even bring it back to anime. My favorite backstory telling of all time is in my like personal, like so I say Code Geass is my number one. If I actually gave like a critique of just like completely, I don't want to say non-personal because obviously
more
it
in
hits me on
depth
such a personal
versus
level.
what you enjoy, like an actual.
But the one that will always hit my soul till the end of time is Trigun. Vash's backstory is not told until the third to last episode, and it is one of the best episodes.
It's tremendous.
It's insane, top to bottom. It is like the most. It's number one, just like one of the best episodes in that anime.
The sense of scale you get for the galaxy and like the area that they're in, and let alone like the time frame and his interaction with knives and stuff. Like, it's amazing.
It sets up not just the character's backstory, but the world building of how the world even got there.
Shit you understood got an answer.
Yes.
Yeah.
More than you even thought. Like you just want to go, oh, why does Vash hate knives? And you understand. Oh,
everything.
Now I know why Vash doesn't kill. Now I understand why the fucking planet is like a half fucking desert. Like,
everything
so much.
gets explained. And that's, I don't know, that's one of those, I get it to an extent, because figure how many people bailed out on Trigun before they got there.
Absolutely.
So it's like, I know why everyone does it now. Everybody has their introduction. Little Witch Academia brings you in by showing you what it's going to be about. Same thing with everything. Everything fucking does it. But there's something to be said about going, I'm going to make this art, and people that will enjoy it will enjoy it.
We'll stick with it.
Let's do it. Yep. Exactly. There's a depth to it that people just don't allow anymore, and I hate that. Well, it's Dimension W, I think, was another phenomenal story. They nailed that one.
That backstory's absurd. That backstory is fucking crazy.
It's so good.
You're waiting for it the whole time, and even it's that endgame approach where you're like, okay, you know what they're gonna hit, and they fucking. You could not have paid me $1 million, even if I would have had like every piece of lore at my disposal to go.
Because it just wasn't available.
Yeah.
That entire run, it was like they were like, you know what? I'm tired of writing the story we're writing, so let's just connect it. Everyone was like, fuck, dude. Yeah,
like right in the middle. Right in the middle, they're just like, man, what if we just made this like way better.
Yeah, they nailed that one big time to the point where now that I'm trying to get Lauren to rewatch it, or to watch it with me, I should say. But my problem being, like, I remember a lot of the stuff, and as good as the interactions, I always want to call the dude Kiyoma, because I think that's literally what his, like, first name is or something.
Yeah.
So, but it's also Hoin Kiyoma from Steins Gate is just in my brain.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I've just been really taking in a lot of media lately between new Netflix series and Hulu, and
I get that.
I've started watching Infinite Dendrogram, which is
I haven't fucked with that yet.
it's really good. It's got similar vibes to Sword Art, where you're like fascinated by the world, but the scale and the weight of everything is very different.
Oh, okay.
Instead of it being that the players can die, it's set up that the NPCs can permanently.
Ooh.
And then you have a 72 in like real world hour ban if you die before you can play again.
Oh, that's...
So, say you're fighting off a giant monster that you know will kill the NPCs. If you die, they're also dead.
They're also dead.
So then you literally lose them, and that's it.
Yeah.
So it has a different weight to it, where the hero is willing to sacrifice himself to save somebody for a real reason.
Yeah.
But it also has all the normal, like, is it cool to meet girls in a dungeon vibe stuff, where it's like, here's this cute girl that's adoring him and whatever.
That's always, for me, it's like, man, it's like, that's the one subject that's like always so oversaturated is the fucking isekais, and it's like,
yeah,
it's just my thing of like the last one that I really got into, and because like there were so many, like when we had Sword Art, right, like jump in, it was like Log Horizon and like all these fucking other ones, and like you and me were like, I think the fucking first people to be like, okay, like these are all cool, but like,
we get it.
But like dot hack, and like anyone can just like bring that up
was
and
it,
then
man.
Fucking like understand it.
I've been talking about dot hack all day today.
So
I was talking to my dad about it because it's the isekai stuff is so prominent now.
Yeah, and it's like the shows and like and like rewatching dot hack sign, it's like don't like the nostalgia hit definitely like hit me different, because like dot hack sign is like 80% dialogue and like 5%
standing in a
action.
pretty universe, and then they're just talking and talking and talking,
Bingo.
using names you don't know
But
yet.
the fucking mangas
Yeah.
are earth shit. Like they're so good.
Some of the best writing that I've read, and that's
4X, which is like it's a 2-book series, and it's the actual origin. Yet again, going back to fucking good origin stories, it's the origin of Kite and Black Rose.
Oh my god!
And
like,
actually,
are you talking like them winning the costumes, or
no?
No, never mind.
That's
That's
Twilight. Not
that's rude, isn't
not
it?
No. It's Dawn of Twilight or something of Twilight.
Yeah, not the kids one.
Not the kids where they win the outfits.
Fuck! Goddamn, dot hack, you're killing me.
But that one's great. I love that one.
I mean,
that
they're
one's
all good.
That one is like, you want to watch happy isekai,
Yeah.
which aren't that many anymore when you actually think about
oh
it.
my god, and that's why Infinite Dendrogram is so pleasant. It does have some serious moments, but it's just pleasant again.
Oh, but the one that did rope me in, where I was like, and even at first I was like, all right, it's popular, but like I don't know, and then I started watching, I was like, fuck me, they did a really good job. Is Overlord. Overlord,
well,
did such a
Overlord takes all of the best cliches. That scene where he's just casting spell after spell after spell, just buffing the shit out of himself. I fucking cried tears of laughter because it was
so
just
good.
so on point.
It's so understandable. It so makes sense.
It goes back through all the video game stereotypes, and that's what I like. Watching Sword Art and having Kirito go like, look, my reaction time's here, so I have 3 frames ahead of this person, and that's why like video games speak to me in the isekai when they recognize that it's virtual. That's one of my favorite mechanics.
Absolutely.
And not a lot of places do that.
Yes.
World building in an isekai is necessary.
Yeah, 100%.
In a different way. Things like Konosuba, it's like, okay, well, you have leveling and you have classes and systems and stuff. So I'm more interested in that than I am about whatever Megumin and Aqua are doing, because I like the world that they've built.
Well, that's always my thing too, of like, that's always what bothers me about Sword Art, is like they jump into it enough where you go like, oh shit, of like in the second half of season 1 when it's like Kirito's fighting the fucking like Red General dude. So it's like, okay, like the Red General dude is way over leveled in this part, but Kirito has like abilities, and they just get away, like it's that point of like, okay, maybe they are gonna like stat
Heathcliff.
Yep. And, yeah, it's like literally like all they needed to do was stat. If they would have stat jumped, like then I would have been like, okay, like if Kirito would have been like, okay, this level's this fucked up, but my speed is this, and I have to hit like this type of dexterity or like this type of.
That's all. It would have made sense.
I would have been so much more. And don't get me wrong, it was still a great fight, but it was just of like, oh, he just yelled and swung harder.
And that's the problem with Sword Art. Are you watching Alicization at all?
I gave up.
Oh man,
I
it's a
gave
mess.
up.
It's good. It is good.
It is.
Alicization is the first season I've been invested in since one.
And I've heard that, and I have watched a couple episodes where I totally agree. But yet again, they shit the fucking bed on the ending.
Yeah,
at least of the first Alicization.
Yeah. So Alicization in general, I'm liking the system because it's him in a new video game where we're learning the mechanics with no tutorial.
Yes.
Neat. But
big fan.
Beyond that, all it has me doing is going like... The problem with Isekai is I want to watch it and go, fuck, I would buy that game tomorrow.
Yes.
And that's
100%.
That's all it is.
Absolutely.
And that's not as common in these Isekai anymore. It's supposed to be like, okay, it's the normal thing. Everyone's a hot character, blah, blah, blah.
Yep. Well, they even put it now, and it's like the whole thing of Isekais in the beginning was you were supposed to resonate with the character. You were supposed to be the one of going like, okay, if I was that character, would I have done it that way?
Hell yeah, I would have married Asuna.
Yeah, it's like, no, but like Kirito's one, I hate him as a protagonist because every situation he's in, I'm like, I would not have fucking done it that way. Yeah. And from a guy who has all the tools, I'm like, he still does not do it the way I would fucking do it.
Yeah, he's inefficient.
He's inefficient with being the best.
Yeah.
And it's infuriating because it's like, if you're gonna write the character who literally can just be like, get away from me, peasants, like, I can do fucking everything. You still try, like, he still acts like in situations where he's like, oh no, my parents like, no, you're not. You even have tools that physically break the game. And then it's like he's still getting put in a situation where he's like, duh. It's like, what do you mean?
Kirito blows my mind because it's all about his motivation and drive and everything. But you're telling me, as a beta player, he wouldn't have found ways to power level things like healing himself and stuff?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
There's no way. Even if he spent... Okay, so if we talk RuneScape, right? Because that's...
Here we go.
Yeah, unfortunately, this has been my kick.
Here we go. You
right now...
me for an hour and 36 minutes, and finally... Now we're talking about what you want.
So, with RuneScape, there are certain abilities that benefit you to have when you're doing other things.
Yes.
Just like any MMO.
Yeah.
So, for instance, there's a Wizard's Tower, where there's a demon behind a gate that is free to attack. So, when you're up there, it can't hurt you back. But you can fight this thing that's level 81 at any level, and any amount of damage you do, those who aren't aware, in RuneScape, you get experience for successfully doing damage, not for a kill.
Got it.
So if you do 3 damage, you get 3 defense experience and 9 attack.
Bingo.
And then it goes through. So I use range and magic attacks to attack or ultimately kill this demon.
Yep.
And then I use my high-level magic skill to telekinetically pull the money or resources or rewards that he drops to me.
So you don't have to get in it to actually aggro the enemy and
exactly
kill yourself.
And in this instance, there's literally not even a door there. So otherwise, you would be leaving that stuff behind.
Yeah.
One of the items it drops sells for 13,000 in-game gold, which is, I don't care what game you're playing, a lot of goddamn money.
Yep.
When you're looking at a mechanic like that.
That's already farm fucking city for anyone who's played a game.
Exactly.
For 5 minutes.
And learning to farm like that is essential for playing a game where grinding and leveling is important.
Yes.
The same reason that in Kingdom Hearts 2, I know you level the wisdom form in the alleyway in front of the world that never was. There are areas and ways to learn something so that you can benefit all of your abilities.
Yes.
And the same way that if you were playing a game for 4 years straight and you were trying to level and everything, you would take breaks from the shit you're doing to get better at side things.
Yes.
Well,
so just to even talk about that, and you even brought it up, like, even I brought up Overlord, but you even brought up that massive, like, fucking moment where it's just stat buffing.
Yep.
The same fucking, like, they do that so well of, like, oh, clearly the default character is an undead that is absurd with spells.
Yep.
Absurd. But then the minute it goes to a close quarters combat where even the character is like, yep, I'm not like as good, but if you'd be a fucking idiot to think I didn't max my stat out. And it's like, yes, my natural fighting ability is bad.
But my numbers are nuts.
But my fucking stat, I can still slice this fucking thing in half and still be a fucking, like, that shit. That's where I'm like, if you're gonna do, that's my problem with Sword Art. They do overpowered completely wrong. Completely wrong.
And then you have characters. So Asuna literally has her cooking skill so high up that she can make like the rarest meat.
Yep.
That's her whole thing. Liz, expert blacksmith. You have Silica, expert with pets. Egil, I think is how you pronounce it, but the guy who runs the shop bar that they go to.
Yes, in the coffee shop and shit.
And then you have Klein, who even uses like weapon enchantment. That's like a big thing they talk about.
His, like his whole Well, they talk about and they never actually show.
Yeah. Well, it's because he talks shit on magic and then enchants his sword with fire. He's a fucking idiot.
Yep.
But
and then becomes a fairy in the fucking second half of the season where magic is a
all of
thing.
those characters have a secondary skill that they leveled because it's a video fucking game.
Yes.
But Kirito.
Yep.
Kirito's only thing is he's good with his swords, which, granted, is the point.
And he can dual wield.
Exactly. So he has the fastest reflexes in the game, which also doesn't make sense because Zekken exists.
Yep.
And the whole point of it was that if somebody else would have faster reflexes, he would lose that ability because it goes to the fastest player.
Yep.
And Zekken literally teaches Asuna a faster move, which means that Asuna should even have a higher reflex stat than Kirito at this point, potentially.
And that's where like they either retconned it or something, because in the beginning it wasn't even the fastest character, it was Kirito just had that ability and also didn't know why.
Yeah, like he was like it's just an ability I picked up.
He's like, oh yeah, I just dual wield.
But then like, dude explained to him that it's the player that has the fastest reaction time.
Yep.
Which to an extent I understand, but again, like they literally wrote Zekken at the end of the second season, which makes no sense. If you look at the timeline for Sword Art, the first season is Sword Art.
There's not a plan.
Exactly.
That's a show that did not have a plan.
Season 1 is video game Sword Art. Then you have 80% of season 2, or well, I should say season 1 is 80% Sword Art, and then like 20 to 40% maybe you have looking at Alfheim.
Yes.
And then season 2's entire run with like Gun Gale and everything after Alfheim, like it's so battered and so randomly mixed up and everything, and they don't even have these characters doing things like leveling.
Yeah.
The only excuse is that they're in different games.
Yeah.
That's it. I can understand you move to a new one, so whatever, but you're telling me in a game with Flight you're not going to max your Flight skill out.
Yeah.
Or you're not going to work on blacksmithing on the side because Kirito's tired of repairing his shit with Liz. It makes no sense from a video game standpoint.
And even this,
except for Overlord, which nailed it.
Yeah. And it's because, and here's the pivotal thing, it's like, if you want to already have a character, and here's the big difference when it comes to overpowered stuff. You want to have a character that's absurdly overpowered? Cool. But when the moment strikes, you have to have the character show how they got overpowered in the first place.
And why.
Or, if you're going to have the more shonen-esque, like, fuck, I'm not overpowered at the beginning of this fight, but fucking like throughout I'm fucking showing it. That's then also they need to develop that mental crunch time.
Absolutely.
Or like in the beginning of fucking like Sword Art or fucking like any of the fucking games Kirito jumps in. It needs to be him going the first thing he needs to do instead of him just like he has it for a split second. He has, okay, what are my stats? Let me scroll through my abilities. Cool. And you're in the beginning, so you get baited in the beginning of, okay, that is what I would do. That is exactly what I do.
Yep, I would see what I'm working with.
But then immediately fucks it up and goes like, oh, I'm just going to like talk to NPCs and like do garbage. It's like, no, look at your stats and then do numbers. Like just, and not, and like, here's the thing. I don't need 2 episodes on it. Just give me a 15 second of just
intermixed.
Or just even in the midst of like, hey, like, are you gonna log off the game? No, I have to spend like the next like 2 hours like killing boars.
Well, that's what they literally do in the beginning when he's teaching Klein how the mechanics work. He's grinding on the board.
Yeah,
and you're like, fuck yes, this is a game.
Yep.
Sword Art's first season was perfect.
First half. Sword Art's first game.
Like the world of Aincrad was perfect. And then you look at the rest of it, and it's like, you could go, Kirito, you're an idiot. But then you see those people in RuneScape that have the default character skin, and you know their woodcutting's level 99, but they're level 2.
Yep.
That's understandable. But if you're trying on a survival basis, you can't just find a girl and marry her who will cook you meals. He has to have a skill to an extent, 100%. And they never address it.
Nope.
It feels like you're missing out on information that makes it feel like not a video game.
Exactly. And that comes down to
which is the whole fucking point.
And that's exactly the point that I was bringing up before. It's like, even if it's a character you can't personally resonate with, it has to be a train of thought that makes sense. Of even going like, okay, am I embodying myself in this character? No. But I have enough faith and understanding of the character at this point to know what the character will react to next. Yep. Here's a prime example of a character I love that I have never thought of myself as, but will watch this character because I love the way that character reacts, and that is fucking Yusuke Urameshi from fucking Yu Yu Hakusho. A character I've never personally resonated with, but I adore the reactions and how real.
He's just so spot on.
It's so dripped in realism of like just some fucking latchkey kid being like, well, fuck fuck you, and like, I'm gonna fuck your shit up.
He's so full of
like, yes,
an attitude that you see in stuff all the time. It's the Edward Elric, like, this is my confidence, I know what's up, like, fuck anyone who stands against me. But the isekai anime is just so obsessed with the useless protag now that's become the thing.
Absolutely.
And it's making me lose interest, and I hate that because it's a medium that I've been interested in since I was fucking 13.
It's literally the medium that got me to understand art as a whole in such a different aspect.
Yeah, it changed the way I looked for things and the way I looked for stories, and
I was I was a cinephile before anime, but like even anime blew my fucking mind on an entirely different scale of like how every fucking piece of the puzzle and like how fucking much in a global scale it takes. And don't get me wrong, I was also, like, just growing as a person in between that.
But that's also part of the media that you intake influences the way that you grow. And
absolutely.
Anime is so difficult because it's actively something you have to tell yourself isn't the way it should be.
Yeah.
Look, I know they sexualize these kids. Look, these poor women are disrespected. Look, the LGBT representation is terrible, and this character is useless.
Yep.
But... I yearn for a story that follows this fantasy and the extra style.
Yep.
The reason I brought up Kipo on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
It is one of the best, like, it's a DreamWorks animation that has, again, I'll say this, record it for time, I'm locking myself in here, the same quality that Avatar Last Airbender ran with.
I got you.
It is tremendous, and it's because... the characters are all interactable. Like, you see them and you're like, I love this. I love the way they talk to each other. I like the way they are. They're goofy, but there's a depth to their characters that you learn throughout the whole thing. There's even, like, a coming out scene where somebody is openly gay, and it's addressed more respectfully than anything I've seen in a long time. Sure. It's so well written and well done that it's changed what I'm looking for in animations again.
Yeah.
So now I'm losing momentum on stuff that I'm watching.
Well, I was going to say, like, one thing that totally, like, I thought when I first heard it, I was like, okay, and then I watched it and I was like, holy fuck, it took me an entirely different level. Now I wouldn't call it an anime, but it's definitely an animation. Is Castlevania. Castlevania on Netflix
Tremendous.
Is fucking absurd. By the way, season 3 just dropped yesterday, and
shit.
I know that's when we were talking about shit to watch. I'm like, right after we're done recording this, I'm fucking watching it. Like,
yeah, I bought the Belmont statue for my dad the other day because it's fucking awesome, dude. It's so good.
And like, yet again, it was like one of those things where I'm like, okay, I know Castlevania, and I also know, more importantly than anything, video game adaptations.
Yep.
And I'm like, well, okay. But then I saw the first 4 episodes, and I was like,
it out
the first episode, the minute Dracula like actually falls in love, they do that in 10 minutes.
Yep.
And I'm already like,
this is everything. Their relationship is perfect.
Yep.
Their interactions are like, you immediately see why they love each other.
For so quick. I'm already like, the minute they fucking burn her at the stake, I'm like, he needs to murder
everyone.
Everyone.
Oh, and he does.
Everyone. Fucking everybody. And like, I have seen some people though go where like, yeah, but it's like too extreme. It's like, I also understand that, but at the same time, this is not about what a character is arguing against morally right or wrong. This is a character that has
been done wrong and now will be taking the revenge
in that path.
Yep. Like, that's just what it is, that's the circumstance.
That's why we like, and sometimes they're written well and sometimes they're written poorly. And like, here's one where it's like, you have Dracula, and in my opinion, like, the overarching story is phenomenal. You have a character that is betrayed, but then you hit... Have you seen season 2 of it?
Yes.
Okay. So I don't want to... So for people that haven't watched it, I apologize, but I am going to spoil it a little bit of... in the sense of, like... And then even... You know, primarily, Dracula did get his revenge. At least, not, like... He didn't wipe out all of humanity.
Yeah, but he got enough...
Yes. And then is so... clearly realizing that he is just unhappy and that revenge was not the answer.
Yep.
And that he is just like now an empty shell of a man because he lost the woman that he loved and like all this stuff. And then like Alucard is literally still like the shining example of like he can see his like wife,
everything about her that he loved.
Exactly. Exactly. It's like so beautifully done. And then you have like other characters that like you and I both have stuck with for a long time that had that like, nope, they're going down the path of revenge, but like just gets like muddied up along the way, but like started great and ended great, but in the middle got super weird, like Sasuke from Naruto.
Yeah.
Like you have a character that's like started and totally understood the level of betrayal, and even though you screamed of like just turn around.
Yeah, you stupid
and accept
idiot.
his
You
friendship.
have these allies,
but you
still.
also within that same exact precipice went, I understand it. And I get why he's going down that path of revenge. I get it. And then at the end, thank God he did make the heel turn. It totally made sense. But in the middle, you're like, all right, he made like 15 fucking choices that
even then,
and some were great.
Sasuke
some were
still
great.
sucks.
Yeah, some were great, some were bad, and it's like there's just those too many moments in between where it's just like. But that's also too because Naruto's just too long. Yeah.
It's so fucking long.
The one thing that will blow my mind though that I don't think a shonen has touched, even close, and I think they actually did it in the beginning. They did it unintentionally and didn't realize is. Naruto's world building is the best in anime.
Yeah.
I'll actually fight anybody on that. It's absurd.
Yeah,
how
I actually agree.
Insane. And I never thought about it until probably like a year ago, but I literally went like, oh my god.
Yeah, the different villages versus like where the ninja war started and everything, but also the lore in general in Naruto lends itself to creating really interesting characters because
and eventually becomes a piece of the story.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting when you look at a character and you give them an OP ability, like fucking the first Hokage's trees and stuff.
Yes,
but then
being the only wood jutsu style naturally.
Yeah, which is
anybody else has to fucking like. I can't think of the fucking word right now. Shit, it's the common thing for like the fucking like loophole or to keep the plot going. I can't think of the fucking word. And it's gonna fucking kill me. God fucking damn it.
Like plot device stuff? What do you mean?
Yes, but there's like a fucking just like word of like, yep, like fucking that. So then they just like keep it fucking going, and
just
I can't.
Prime audio quality.
I know. I do this on like every third podcast where I think of like, and it's the dumb. It's like
cool. It took us like 20 minutes to figure out.
But
the
anyway,
name
but everybody has to fucking inject fucking Hariyama's got fucking cells inside him to fucking start doing what's out. But anyway,
to be fair though, you're telling me you wouldn't take some of that first Hokage blood
immediately? Oh hell, fucking yeah! Jesus Christ, absolutely. But it's just for me, it's always that thing of like he's the only one. Like there's literally no other person, because every other style jutsu, whether it's like mixed or natural, has multiple people. But it's literally he is the only one.
Even Pain's Rinnegan, multiple people utilize. Like,
and it's
even
also
the rarest
and it's also passed down. Like it's also, and that too. Like you want like so now. We're gonna wrap this up fucking soon because we're literally about to hit the 2-hour mark.
That's awesome.
And I love
have one last question for you, and that's perfect.
There we go. But that was the. Now I'm flipping it way back of when you have those like primate characters and they hit their biggest wall. My favorite thing of Naruto is Naruto vs. Pain.
Yeah.
Purely because it is the like
the post Jiraiya heartbreak.
Yep.
Christ.
And it's literally like taught both of them both. Took completely different routes of that teaching.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then literally now they are pitted against each other, and not just physically, but also their ideals and where the fuck that comes into play.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, Pain was one of the best written anything in the Naruto franchise.
It always bums me out because it's like it's the same way I feel about the Pain Naruto fight is the exact same way I feel about Teen Gohan and Cell of like, man, I wouldn't have beat it that. I actually would not have hated it if the credits would have rolled right at that.
Yeah, it would have been the perfect ending. Teen Gohan's the best version of Gohan. Anyway.
Oh, that's. I mean,
so what?
That's
jutsu,
not even an argument.
What jutsu would you pick?
Oh God, what style?
Yeah.
No. God damn you.
It's like my favorite thing to ask Naruto fans because there's just so many good options.
Damn you,
man.
Oh man, there's so many.
Well, yeah, and that's the other thing. I'm not gonna lie.
I want to be cool. I just want to be a fucking weeb cool and say like lightning.
Well,
yeah, so cool.
But I mean, like the Raikage in general.
Fire's just so dope. Fire's dope.
Dude, yeah, I mean, it's all about that gold dust from the Kazekage or the Mitsukage with the Prism Jutsu. That shit is just so fucking cool to me.
It's absurd.
But Gaara's been, like, you remember going cosplayed as Gaara to the fucking Suncoast little quiz thing. Like, I've always loved the Sand Jutsu and stuff. And then when I found out about Gaara's dad, I was like, so it's a better version. It's just gold dust. That's so much cooler.
It's literally just fucking gold dust. Or the fucking... third Kazekage where it's black. It's fucking iron sand.
I love it so fucking much.
Fucking sand.
So cool. Like, so cool.
Yeah, man.
Like, Naruto's so cool.
I don't know. There's too many. I really can't like pit one where I'm like, oh, abso-fucking-lutely.
It's the sexy no jutsu.
Yeah, that's it.
It
saved the universe.
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
It literally saved
That checks out. It's his favorite thing. That's his ace in the sleeve.
It worked on Kaguya. That's it. It worked on Kaguya to literally then, like, 3 pages later, end up fucking both hands on her and fucking seal the whole fucking thing.
But that's all you need.
That is, at the end of the day.
You need one horny villain and sexy no jutsu, and anime's done.
It's him saying the perfect line of, the more powerful the enemy, the more powerful the jutsu works. It's like, it's so fucking absurd, but it's like such a fucking off-beaten thing. And even like Sasuke's like, of course Naruto would come up with the most fucking random thing
asshole.
to confuse everyone in the fucking room, and it still fucking works.
Yeah.
See, my thing is this. I've always been, and maybe this more says about me than anything, I've always more thought never about the jutsus, but the Kekkei I've way more thought about, like...
they're infinitely cooler, so
I've
that makes
way
sense.
more thought about, like, man, fuck that, like, jutsu shit. I just want to be like Kimimaro and, like, fuck with all, like, the bones and shit. Like, that just concept's, like, insane. It's, like, the ultimate defense and offense.
I mean, honestly, the fucking Gemini one, I can't think of...
Oh, the twins.
God damn it. But yeah, the
I know exactly what you're talking about.
The wall, like, the gate jutsu
yes!
that they use.
Oh my god, yes.
Dude, in the games, it was the most broken shit.
It was
You'd
so
just be standing on the other side charging your jutsu with the giant fucking thing in the middle. I love it.
You just learn to put up a big fucking barricade and be like,
but I mean, I'd probably kill a bunch of people to get, like, the Sharingan.
Absolutely.
I would...
Uchiha, hands down.
Yeah. Uchiha...
Pain through misery,
it fucks
fucking
me
being
up.
emo as fuck.
It fucks me up, the lengths I would go for. Like, thank God I don't have the Mangekyo, because I would probably be putting some pain
and then it's like, on top of that, it's like they just made Uchiha's just, like, absurd. It's like, okay, so each eye has an independent power. That's, like, the dopest fucking
and there's,
thing
like, 12 of them,
yep,
so it could be anything.
And then even on top of that, it's like, yep, you normally have to either, like, kill your brother, which is also an Uchiha, or, like, a best fucking friend. So the eye develops only through, like, fucking witnessing pain and fucking developing through that. And then on top of it, if you want to get real ballsy, once you really start developing your ocular power, when it gets strong enough, you'll eventually go blind. And then you then have to, by force, usually, take someone else's eyes, which will then double on top of your own fucking thing, and then cure the eventual blindness, and then you just have it fucking permanently.
In general, like tiramisu, that's not what it is. The
Tsukiyomi.
Yes, thank you. The Tsukiyomi, even in the older games and everything.
Tiramisu.
Yeah, it's all the same shit. The Tsukiyomi is so fucking broken, and the scene where Itachi uses it against
Kabuto.
No, actually.
Kakashi? Like, way early on?
Yeah, when it's him and Kisame fighting against him and, Punch Guy. What the fuck is his name?
Guy?
Akuma? The guy who uses the arm blade stuff that gets killed.
Asuma.
Is it Asuma? Okay, yeah. Akuma. I was close.
You're thinking,
but yeah.
I used to fuck that up.
But yeah, so, like, that
You're
interaction and
Street
stuff.
Fighter.
I always am. No, I'm not. Street Fighter's garbage. But yeah, no, my entire, like, watching that scene, I just remember thinking, like, the Tsukiyomi, like, Genjutsu in general is so fucking crazy, but the way that they write it in there with the Tsukiyomi and everything is just so... It's so unique and so well written that it doesn't make me mad that there's so much more to it.
Yeah.
But the Mangekyo shit, like, when you get to, like, Danzo and stuff, there's just... there's so much in the Naruto series that I think is some of the best written stuff.
Yes.
I just wish it wasn't...
muddied up in the middle.
Yeah, man. Just a filler-heavy bullshit session.
Even in the prime, even in like its manga adaptation, when you're reading it, there's like filler, and you're like,
it sucks. It sucks.
But that's where in the back of my mind though, I go, okay, but we're getting some world building shit. I'm like,
yeah. Exactly. And I like the world building and the jutsu.
That took years of me over time. And
that's because you have to do that before you turn it off.
I will never say, though, that it's perfect. Like, I'll never be that guy that goes, like, oh, I've read it 1,000 times, like, the perfect fucking piece, top to bottom, fucking bit. No, though. There's absolutely flaws. I will be the first person to acknowledge those flaws.
Yeah. Now, Future Diary is perfect.
Jesus Christ. Well, Luna, we're literally hitting the 2-hour fucking mark. And I had a thought that we were going to get this far, but goddamn. See, and you were so worried. You were so fucking worried about, like...
I just want to be good with production,
and
bud.
I knew the minute we fucking actually started, it was just going to be a natural conversation anyway.
Well, it's funny, because last year when we talked about Kingdom Hearts, we talked for like an hour and 15 minutes, and we were like, we gotta stop.
Oh, because that was like, we literally needed to vent.
Yeah.
Because that fucked up for something.
It was Kingdom Hearts 3's initial release, and we 100%ed it. Like, we had a lot to talk about.
You and me, who literally was waiting for the third game since we were. You want to talk
before we knew each other.
You want to talk about 10 years ago of
Yeah.
fucking knowing each other? That's when we were amped already for Kingdom Hearts 3. That's
I
insane
bought a
to think about that.
So when the PS3 came out, I wanted to buy one so when Kingdom Hearts 3 inevitably dropped on it, I'd be able to play.
That's why I bought my
Like,
PS3.
what the fuck?
That's why I bought my PS3 day one, because I thought it was coming out like in 2 years like a moron, like a fucking idiot.
Nope.
Not even close.
To be fair, that was well before everything.
But also not even the same console
Sons
generation.
of bitches.
Could you imagine going back in time and the only thing you tell yourself is like the minute you beat Kingdom Hearts 2 would be like get ready to wait. Now.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3
Now.
doesn't drop until like 2018, and you're gonna destroy it when it drops. But it's only gonna be like 74
And
hours.
so unsatisfactorily destroy it.
I would say that, and I would go also. Don't play Kingdom Hearts 2 at your friend's apartment right now, because when 2.5 drops it, you won't buy it because you just 100%ed it with them, and you don't want to fucking do that again.
But you will eventually. But at
you
some
goddamn
point,
will
you
eventually.
will goddamn eventually. Jesus Christ. All right, Luna. Thank you so fucking much for hopping on. I adore these conversations. I really do.
Thanks for having me, bud.
Yeah, anytime. Anything like shit. I always bring this up, and I don't know anything offhand, so I am genuinely actually asking. Any fucking projects, any fucking side things you have going on at all that you would like to plug, bring up, or whatsoever? If not, it's not a big deal. I'm not trying to actually actively put you on the spot, but I just always give that open thing of anybody if.
Yeah, I have this brand new porn Patreon. It's
There it is.
only
All right. So anyway,
so fans only. No.
Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. And as always, good evening, good night, and
Thanks
good
for
luck.
listening.
Goodbye, everybody.